You idiot. Hate you for the rest of my life. I never want to see you again, but I still miss you so much. Ever since I was little, I've always ranked first in every exam. But at 18, I was diagnosed with a terminal illness. I only have 3 months left to live, and yet I haven't even held a girl's hand. I truly cannot accept this. So I decided to unleash my inner rebel and go wild. To live as myself for once. So, as I walked into class munching on a whole clay-baked chicken while wearing a loud, flowery shirt, I drew strange looks from the entire class. All of this gave me an unprecedented sense of pleasure. Only then did I realize that I had always been living for the expectations of others. I didn't care about them at all, and just sat down in my seat, only to find Liu Ruyan sitting in front of me, staring at me with a questioning gaze.
Zhuangxiang, why didn't you answer my messages?
Liu Ruyan, the school's goddess-tier beauty, never lacked suitors by her side, or to put it bluntly, a pack of simps. And I used to be one of them, since we sat right behind each other, seeing each other every day. It was hard for a teenage boy not to fall for a girl as beautiful as her. I pulled out my phone and saw several unread messages from Liu Ruyan. Zhuangxiang, I want to eat Li family's fried buns tomorrow morning. Remember to buy some for me. Why didn't you come to school today? And you didn't even reply. If you keep playing this disappearing act, I will never give you the chance to pursue me again. I'm about to die anyway. Do I really care about her giving me a chance? You aren't even anything to me. Does wanting to eat something mean I have to buy it for you?
What did you say?
Liu Ruyan's eyes widened in disbelief. If she had misheard, not expecting me to dare talk to her in that tone. Since when did a simp become so rebellious? I admit, I really liked Liu Ruyan before. But Liu Ruyan always kept me at arm's length. Hot one moment and cold the next. Whenever she saw me about to give up, she'd skillfully give me a little hope, dangling it just to toy with me. Now that I know I'm terminally ill, I've finally seen the light. I want to end this pointless game. Student Liu, I have no obligation to buy you breakfast. Buying it is a favor. Not buying it is the norm. It seems you still haven't figured out your place. I replied indifferently.
Zhuangxiang, has your illness made you senile?
Doing this means you'll lose me forever, Liu Ruyan said in a threatening tone. Whatever, it's not like I ever had you. Liu Ruyan was extremely disappointed in me and turned away in anger. Son, what on earth are you wearing? Aren't you afraid old Zhang will tear you apart? Teng Cheng is my desk mate and also my best friend. We often call each other father and son. Son, your dad is sick. So I just wanted to change my mood a bit. I laughed and explained to him.
That works. You've got style.
Just need a big gold chain around your neck to complete the look. Teng Cheng laughed and teased. The bell rang just then. Next were 2 consecutive math periods. Terminator Wu Chufang walked up to the podium with her lesson plans. Math class is incredibly effective at inducing sleep. After only 2.5 minutes, half the class started nodding off. Meanwhile, I reached into Teng Cheng's desk, pulled out a copy of Demigods and Semi-Devils, and flipped to a classic scene. The 18 Riders of Yan Yun, galloping like tigers through the mist. Son, do you have a death wish? Reading a novel in the Terminators class. Teng Cheng lowered his voice, hardly believing his eyes. Before, I always sat upright in class, with intense focus. I only took 1 day off sick. Did I take the wrong medicine? But now, I didn't care about any of that. I want to experience everything that I wanted to do before, but didn't dare to. Burn bright my youth, Lord Morong, sect leader Zhuang, old monster Ding. The 3 of you can come at me at once. Xiao has nothing to fear. Right when it got to the exciting part, I suddenly felt a surge of killing intent. I looked up and met Wu Chufang's sharp gaze. Zhuangxiang, come to the board and solve this problem. I walked up to the podium with my head held high, then wrote the solution fluently like a soaring dragon. Finished. I tossed the chalk aside like a rebel. Ask me if there's anything you don't understand, with an extremely arrogant attitude. Wu Chifang looked at the perfectly correct solution, and her face darkened.
Zhuangxiang,
Your math scores are always top of the class. Please share your study experience with us. It wouldn't happen to be reading novels in class, would it? Teacher Wu, actually. I don't like math at all, I turned and replied.
What did you say?
Wu Chifang was stunned.
I said I have absolutely no interest in mathematics, aside from torturing my brain cells. This stuff has 0 practical use. The reason I have some achievements is entirely thanks to everyone else being a backdrop. These words weren't just challenging the teacher. They offended the entire class. How incredibly arrogant. Wu Chufang slammed the desk in anger. Confiscating the novel. Go stand outside the classroom. You damn monkey.
That's my book.
Teng Cheng cried out in panic. It's fine, I'll sneak into her office and steal it back for you later. Having said that, I walked off with a reckless air, tossed the novel onto the podium, and walked out of the classroom proudly. The air outside was much fresher than inside. Wu Chifang stared at my bizarre behavior in a daze, because I was supposed to be the top student of this grade. It was like I had become a different person. The classmates also started whispering.
What's wrong with Zhuangxiang?
He looks like a delinquent, but don't say it out loud. He actually looked pretty cool just now. I stood in the hallway outside the classroom, Such a beautiful time. Standing here as punishment is such a waste. I might as well just skip class. Ever since I was little, I've never skipped class. I went to the northwest corner of the basketball court, where there was a relatively low section of the perimeter wall. I had seen students climb over from there before. Back then, I was the discipline head of the student union, wearing the red armband with pride, and now am the one being disorganized and undisciplined. It's quite ridiculous when I think about it, but whatever. This world is already full of ridiculous things. Getting close to the wall, I realized I had underestimated its height. To jump onto the wall, the difficulty was on par with a slam dunk. Forget it. I don't know what to do outside anyway. I was about to give up. Just as I was about to turn away, a melody sounded in my ear. So la si la so. Do you want to go out? Suddenly, a clear voice rang out not far away. I was startled, jump-scared by the sound. Looking closely, I saw a girl leaning against a ginkgo tree. That girl was incredibly beautiful. She wore a pure white shirt paired with a deep blue pleated skirt.
I thought Liu Ruyan was pretty enough.
But compared to the girl in front of me, Liu Ruyan was nothing. Are you skipping class too? I asked. Shh. Keep it down. The girl put her index finger to her lips, signaling for silence. Her fingers were beautiful, slender, and delicate. As if carved from white jade, her small rosy lips looked like a freshly picked strawberry. Hi, I'm Zhuangziang, class 9. I introduced myself softly. Su, Wudi, class 23. The girl replied. This entire campus only has one grade, and the whole grade only has 22 classes. She said class 23, likely to guard against me, not wanting to reveal her real class. Maybe she even recognizes the former discipline head. Su Wudi looked at the towering perimeter wall. If you really want to go out, I can help you. I asked happily, really? What's your plan? Crouch down low. Let me step on your shoulders to climb up the wall first. Then I'll pull you up after. Su Wudi said with a smile. You look so small and thin. Can you even pull me up? I was a bit worried. Don't worry, I'm very strong. Su Wudi flexed her arm, showing me her bicep. All right, happy to cooperate. I immediately squatted down. Su Wudi, afraid of dirtying my shirt, took off her canvas shoes, revealing her pure white socks. Then, she hung the shoes on my shoulder. This is my token, so you won't have to worry about me getting up and not pulling you. I smiled and said, no need. I trust you. Right after I finished speaking, I felt the girl's feet on my shoulders. The soles of her feet were soft, and she was very light. I slowly stood up. At that moment, a dark thought suddenly popped into my head. Girl on my shoulders is wearing a skirt. If I accidentally looked up, of course it was just a fleeting thought. I didn't do anything so despicable. Lust is the root of all evil. Judge by actions, not by thoughts. If judged by thoughts, no one in this world would be perfect. Su Wudi leaped onto the wall light as a swallow, then reached down a slender, soft hand to me. I reached out and gripped her hand tightly. Who would have thought that the first time holding a girl's hand would be while climbing a wall? The girl's hand was really... Su Wudi was indeed as strong as she claimed, and I climbed onto the top of the wall quite easily. Looking back at the familiar school, I felt a bit guilty, but also an unprecedented joy. Help me put on my shoes. Su Wudi held out her small white feet toward me. The top of the wall was very narrow. She had to use her hands to hold on, so putting them on herself was very difficult. I had never put shoes on a girl before. My heart was pounding, and my breathing became heavy. Grasping that small, soft ankle, I struggled for a while to get the canvas shoes on, then tied a butterfly knot, which looked a bit ugly. Once the shoes were on, Su Wudi looked down at the ground and cried out, "It's so high, I'm a bit scared. Jump down first. Then catch me." I took out my phone and placed it in the palm of her hand. This is my token, so you won't have to worry about me being down there and not catching you. No need. I trust you. Su Wudi gave a radiant smile. I took a deep breath, then leaped down, landing steadily on the ground, then opened my arms for her to jump. Su Wudi prepared herself for a long time, finally gathering enough courage to lean over. I caught her in a princess carry, catching her securely. This scene looked exactly like something out of an idol drama. However, as soon as I turned my head, caught sight of a familiar figure, a middle-aged man in his 40s, wearing a brown leather jacket, carrying a silver thermos. It was none other than my class advisor, Zhang Zhiyuan. Zhuangziang, what on earth are you doing? Zhang Zhiyuan had witnessed my entire wall climbing process. He was just afraid of scaring me and making me twist my ankle. So he waited until I landed before speaking up. If he hadn't seen it with his own eyes, he wouldn't have believed it even if you killed him, that the top student in class would skip school by climbing a wall.
Who is he?
Su Wudi asked innocently. Run, quick. I grabbed Su Wudi's hand, turned around, and ran for my life. Stop right there, you brat.
Stop for me?
Zhang Zhiyuan chased us for over a kilometer. Finally, due to his age, his stamina wasn't what it used to be, so he had to give up in frustration. He panted heavily, leaned against a utility pole, and unscrewed his thermos to take a sip of goji berry tea. Teacher Zhang, I'll write a self-reflection for you tomorrow. Just let me cut loose for once today. I waved hard at teacher Zhang Zhiyuan, then disappeared into the crowd. How long are you going to hold my hand? Su Wudi blinked her big sparkling eyes. Sorry, I quickly let go, holding the hand of such a beautiful girl. The feeling was actually quite wonderful. Too bad it hadn't been very long before she noticed. Old Zhang, thanks for the assist. We walked side by side on the long, busy street. I asked Su Wudi, why did you skip class? Su Wudi replied naively, I wasn't planning on skipping class. I was just going to pick some ginkgo leaves. It's because you wanted to skip that I came along with you. Nonsense. It's clearly during class hours.
Why aren't you in the classroom?
My class is having PE right now.
Su Woody explained with a smile.
I was immediately speechless. It's one thing for me to skip class, but dragging a student from another class along, that's truly adding crime upon crime. What about you?
Why did you skip?
Su Woody asked. I'm going through some sad things, so I wanted to cut loose a bit. I tried to keep my tone light and nonchalant. Something sad. Then let me take you to eat something delicious. You'll feel better right away after eating. The delicious food Su Woody mentioned was fried potatoes. The seller was a middle-aged woman who gave her a kind smile as soon as she saw her. Little butterfly, it seems like it's been a long time since you visited. Su Woody also gave a sweet smile. Auntie, 2 portions of potatoes, please. And make them very spicy. This is my friend. His name is Zhuangzong. My face darkened. She can't even remember my name, and she calls us friends. That's right, Zhuangziang.
Wait for me here for a bit.
I'm going to buy some cola. Coca-Cola or Pepsi. Coke, everyone knows. Coke has more fizz, while Pepsi is sweeter. 2.5 minutes later, we sat on the marble steps, eating fried potatoes. Tell me your sad story to make me happy for a bit. Su Woody suddenly blinked her big eyes and said, "Are you trying to rub salt in my wound?" I said irritably, but she said, "No, if a sad story can be told, maybe it won't feel so sad anymore." I turned my head, looking at her beautiful side profile. That innocent look makes it very easy for others to trust her. I hesitated for a moment, then slowly began to speak. When I was 12 years old, graduating from primary school, one night during summer vacation, my dad said the whole family would go to the beach together. I had never seen the ocean before, so I was so excited I couldn't sleep all night, staying up to pack my bags.
Wow, your dad is so nice.
I've never seen the ocean either. Su Woody showed clear admiration. However, when I woke up the next morning, I saw that the 3 of them were already gone. It turns out, the whole family in my dad's mouth didn't include me. My gaze suddenly darkened. Su Woody remained silent. The atmosphere suddenly became awkward. She wanted to comfort me, but didn't know how to start. Suddenly, she used a bamboo skewer to spear a potato and brought it right to my mouth. "Do you want to taste some of mine? Or aren't they the same?" I was a bit dazed. "They're not the same, because I'm feeding you." Tasting a piece of her potato, the flavor was indeed different. There was a bit of sweetness seeping into my heart. When I was 14 years old, in the middle of the night, I had a severe stomach ache. So painful, I wished I were dead. Struggling miserably on the bed, my dad woke up and whipped me with a belt, telling me to shut up because my younger brother had a piano exam the next day, and I wasn't allowed to disturb his sleep. I recalled the past, and my eyes instinctively turned red. That was the darkest night of my life. This thing is like a thorn embedded in my heart. I've never told anyone. The girl in front of me gave me an indescribable feeling of trust. "Zhuangzong, you've got a nosebleed." "Sorry, it must be because the potatoes were too spicy." Su Woody hurriedly pulled out tissues to help me stop the bleeding. I felt waves of warmth from her fingertips soaking into my skin, and the pent-up sorrow in my heart gradually faded away. After the bleeding stopped, I said gratefully, "Thanks, I've been getting nosebleeds often for the past 6 months. It's not the potatoes' fault." Su Woody took out a handful of change from her pocket, counted it for a bit. "A total of 53 yuan, she said in a sweet voice. "I'll keep 4 yuan for the bus. The remaining 49 yuan, I can treat you to everything. Anyway, whenever I'm sad, I eat delicious food like crazy. And that way, I don't seem to feel sad anymore." I smiled and said, "In this world, only love and good food cannot be failed. But I'm the guy, let me treat you." "No, I'm treating you today. Next time, when I'm sad, you can treat me then." Su Woody stubbornly puffed out her small lips. "All right, my skin is pretty thick too. I'm never usually polite with anyone." I agreed readily. We finished the potatoes, drank all the Coke, and continued our gourmet journey. We raided everywhere, from grilled meat skewers to pancakes, from Odin to spicy malatang. After Su Woody's 49 yuan was all gone, I spent money to buy her a strawberry milk tea. I'm so full, I'm about to burst, so I didn't want to drink anything else.
Wow, Zhuangziang.
This is absolutely delicious. You want to taste? Su Woody exclaimed with excited praise. She brought the milk tea closer. How am I supposed to taste it? I saw the straw on top was full of bite marks. Even if she hadn't bitten it to pieces like that, 2 people can't just share one straw, right? After all, we've only known each other for an hour. Men and women should keep their distance. Su Woody pulled another straw from behind her back. When I went to buy the Coke earlier, I asked for an extra one. "Here, have a sip." I stared into the girl's clear eyes, hesitated for a long time, and finally couldn't help myself, bending down to take a sip. The rich flavor of the milk tea exploded on my tongue. The aftertaste lasted a long time. It was clearly just an ordinary strawberry milk tea, yet it seemed to taste much better than usual. Sharing a milk tea with 2 straws. Usually only couples in love do that. Was she doing this on purpose? Or is she just that innocent? I think my looks are bad, but not enough to make such a beautiful girl. Fall in love at first sight, so she must be naturally airheaded. She must be the airheaded type. Zhuangzong, we're considered friends now, right? Of course. Didn't you just tell the potato lady that we are friends?
Zhuangziang, you're not going back to school this afternoon either.
Su Wuti was beaming with joy. I'm not going back, I answered firmly. Strolling the streets with a girl is much more interesting than sitting in a classroom since I was a child. For the first time, in being a bad kid, I feel truly exhilarated. So, where are we going this afternoon? Su Wuti suddenly leaned in close to me. The faint scent of the young girl's body drifted into every breath I took. I thought for a moment and then asked, "Do you like reading books?" Su Wuti frowned and shook her head vigorously. "I don't like it, especially math books. I didn't mean textbooks, but extracurricular books." I explained hurriedly. In that case, I quite like them.
I love both comics and joke books.
The corners of Su Wuti's mouth curved into a beautiful smile. "All right then, let's go to the library to read this afternoon." "Are you allowed to bring food into the library?" "Of course not." I raised my voice. "You really are a foodie. No wonder you're so strong." Su Wuti stared at the convenience store by the roadside. "Not even candy. I can eat it secretly." "Candy should be okay, right?" "Great. Let's go buy some." Su Wuti was as happy as a child, pulling my hand as we walked into the store and bought a bag of fruit-flavored hard candy. Arriving at the library, I found demigods and semi-devils on the shelf, intending to continue reading from this morning. Even though the TV series has been remade countless times, the unique charm of the written word is something that films can never replace. When I walked to the reading area, Su Wuti was already sitting at a table, carefully holding a children's edition, a collection of witty jokes, her face beaming with a bright smile.
Wow. The book you're reading is so deep.
I teased her intentionally. Su Wuti naturally caught my sarcasm, but she didn't mind and said, "In life, as long as you're happy, it's enough. Why bother being so deep?" "True, the more knowledge you have doesn't necessarily mean you'll be happier." I wholeheartedly agreed. That's right. Whether you're a scientist, a thinker, or a philosopher, everyone has to die in the end. I was stunned for a moment, then muttered to myself, "Yeah, I'm also someone who's about to die." The afternoon sunlight streamed through the window at an angle. Just like that, we stayed in the library all afternoon. Leaving the library, I watched Su Wuti board the bus until she disappeared into the busy traffic. Damn it, I forgot to ask for her phone number. The next day at school, I went straight to the 5th floor, confirming with my own eyes that class 22 was the last one. "So, little butterfly,
Who are you exactly?
where do you come from?" Back in the classroom, Lu Ruyan in the row ahead turned around. "Zhuangziang, I didn't know you were sick. I can forgive you for yesterday's matter. Forgive me. I didn't do anything wrong."
Why do I need your forgiveness?
As my best friend, Eng Cheng had always been disgruntled with Lu Ruyan. So he spoke up righteously. "School beauty Lu, let's make things clear today. If you like Zhuangziang, then the two of you should be together. But if you don't like him, then don't come around and tease him."
What does it have to do with you?
Lu Ruyan glared at Teng Cheng furiously. "I just don't want to date for the time being. I never said I didn't like him. As long as his attitude is sincere and he persists, I will definitely consider him in the future." Teng Cheng shouted in anger. "Listen to yourself. How can you say that? Isn't it obvious? You're just keeping a spare tire. You boys are truly ridiculous. Just because you pursued me a little, does that mean I have to agree immediately? Wouldn't that make me look too cheap?" Lu Ruyan argued eloquently. Teng Cheng was so angry he was speechless. "Then what if Zhuangziang is halfway through pursuing you? And you meet another guy you like? Then, of course, I have to be with my true love. Loving someone shouldn't involve calculating gains and losses. If he truly likes me, he should wish me happiness." Hearing this twisted logic, Teng Cheng was completely at a loss for words. What on earth is wrong with this world? What makes these girls so blindly confident? Lu Ruyan, I've thought it over carefully.
Actually, I don't even like you that much.
I won't bother you anymore from now on, and I hope you won't trouble me either. In the last 3 months of my life, I don't want to be a miserable, lovesick fool. Having said this, I feel as relieved as if a 1,000-pound weight had been lifted. Lu Ruyan trembled with rage. "I'm declaring right now, Zhuangziang, you've completely lost the chance to pursue me." Lu Ruyan spoke as if delivering a final verdict. "Who wants you, you weirdo?"
Well said.
"I've wanted to advise you to do that for a long time. You're handsome, and you're great at studying. You'll definitely find a girl 100 times prettier than her." Teng Cheng retorted sharply. "Have you lost your mind? Ruyan is the school beauty. Who could possibly be prettier than her? Zhuangziang, I order you to apologize to Ruyan immediately." A sudden questioning voice cut in. The person who just spoke was Ji Bada, Hez the vice president, and because I, the class president, usually outshine him, he's always been resentful and defiant. "Who the hell do you think you are to order me around? You're just another simp at Lu Ruyan's feet, and you'll always be second place, kid." I laughed coldly. Normally I wouldn't speak so rudely, but I don't want to restrain myself anymore. There is no need to be polite to someone who's looking for trouble. Just then, a classmate shouted for me. "There's a girl outside looking for you." Hearing that, I looked out the window. My breath suddenly caught. The girl outside was wearing a pure white shirt, paired with a dark blue pleated skirt. She turned and smiled, more enchanting than spring blossoms.
Little butterfly.
I jumped up and rushed outside. Inside the classroom, a sudden commotion broke out. Who is that girl? She looks so beautiful. It turns out our school actually has a girl even more beautiful than Liu Ruyan. No wonder Zhuang Xiang doesn't want to pursue Liu Ruyan anymore. Truly, comparing people just makes you die of envy, and comparing goods makes you want to throw them away. At this moment, Liu Ruyan's face became extremely unsightly. I strode hurriedly out to the hallway. What brought you here? Su Wudi pulled a tube of medicine from behind her back. This is for you. The doctor said it can treat nosebleeds. I reached out to take it. It was just a normal hemostatic ointment. Of course, I knew my illness well. This medicine couldn't cure it, but I still gave a slight smile.
Thank you.
It's still early before class starts. Would you like to sit over there with me for a while? Su Wudi pointed toward a flower bed not far away. Of course. I nodded hurriedly. Su Wudi lightly adjusted her skirt and sat down by the flower bed. Was the strawberry cake yesterday delicious? Hearing that question, my heart tightened. Last night, Su Wudi told me to take a piece of cake home for my younger brother to try and ease our relationship, but I didn't have the heart to tell her that. That lovely sweet cake had been heartlessly trampled into a pile of mush. A girl so pure and innocent must believe that the world is full of goodness everywhere. So I decided to weave a lie. Thanks for the suggestion. My brother loved that cake. He ate until cream was all over his mouth. He even called me Big Brother. My dad was very happy too. He even asked about my studies. When he heard I was top of the class again, he gave me a tight hug. My stepmother cooked a table full of delicious food and kept putting food on my plate, praising me for being both smart and sensible. Su Wudi hugged her knees with both hands, lightly tilted her head up, and listened quietly to my story. The scene I just described has appeared in my dreams countless times. I thought I could say it perfectly without a flaw, but the forced smile on my lips was incredibly stiff. Having been a good kid all my life, naturally I wasn't good at lying at all. Zhuang Zhang, you're such a big dummy. You're lying to me, aren't you? Friends should tell each other the truth. Su Wudi suddenly spoke up.
I'm sorry. I apologize softly.
Oftentimes, the truth is incredibly cruel. I don't want to pass my pain on to my friends. Zhuang Zhang, are you still very sad? Su Wudi asked gently. Then after school, this noon, I'll take you to eat something delicious again. Remember to wait for me here.
Oh, okay.
It's almost time for class. Su Wudi stood up and waved goodbye to me. In the blink of an eye, her figure vanished into the crowd. Turning to the classroom, Tang Cheng immediately leaned in close. Hey, who is that girl? Told you about her last night. Shez, the girl I met when I climbed over the wall. You didn't even believe me back then. Now I totally believe you. No wonder you stopped pursuing Liu Ruyan. Heng Cheng spoke loudly on purpose. Compared to that girl just now, Liu Ruyan really is just too ordinary. Liu Ruyan had been pricking up her ears to eavesdrop on our conversation. Now she turned around, shooting a murderous glare at Teng Cheng, then looked at me deeply, her mood seemingly very complex. I wasn't pursuing her anymore. To her, that was just losing a spare tire. But now that a girl many times more beautiful has appeared, the nature of the story has completely changed. It was as if she had been utterly defeated by someone else, for a school beauty who always holds her head high. This was an unbearable humiliation. Finally, 12 o'clock noon arrived, and the bell for lunch break rang out cheerfully. Heng Cheng patted my shoulder. Hey, are we still eating at the cafeteria today? I have something to do. Ask someone else. I craned my neck to look at the flower bed outside the window.
What are you busy with?
Aunt, we usually have lunch together. Tang Cheng asked curiously. Explain later when I get back. I'm off now. I hurriedly packed my bag and dashed out of the classroom. Tang Cheng watched with wide eyes, feeling as if he had just been abandoned, until he saw the girl standing next to me. And then he was so angry his lungs were about to burst. Truly a case of choosing a girl over friends.
What a beast.
Moment I saw Su Wudi, my smile instantly brightened. I asked tentatively, what floor is your classroom on? You got down here really fast. The 5th floor. Because I wanted to see you. I ran down here like crazy. Su Wudi panted softly. A strange light suddenly flickered in my eyes. So I'm actually worth someone running to meet like this.
What do you want to eat?
It's on me, I said with a smile. Let's have mini hot pot. There are so many choices. Speaking of food, Su Wudi looked so hungry she was about to drool. Mini hot pot on a sunny afternoon like this. Aren't you afraid of smelling like it? If you want to eat something, just eat it. Why do you have to hesitate so much? This girl is truly very free-spirited. When I'm with her, I feel like I'm becoming much more fond of life. Su Wudi ordered a spicy mini hot pot. Then she turned to me and said with a laugh, a taste for hot pot. All matters resolved.
Delicious,
I replied, holding my head high. Su Wudi raised her glass to clink with mine. Zhuang Zhang, I wish for you to forget all your worries and to be happy every single day, I said emotionally. Little butterfly, thank you. A bubbly gulp of Coke went down my throat, bringing a slight tingling sensation. Gazing at her beautiful fairy-like face, I couldn't help but ask, little butterfly, how are you always so full of life? Being happy is passing a day, and not being happy is also finishing a day. So why don't we choose to be happy every day? Su Wudi smiled and asked back. I nodded quietly. She made a lot of sense, and there was no way to argue. After finishing lunch, I planned to walk around the nearby apartment complexes to see if there were any suitable rooms for rent. For these final 3 months, I want to live alone. Hearing that, Su Wudi insisted on coming with me. Many rental notices were posted at the apartment complex gate, I took a liking to a one-bedroom apartment. So I called the number. Not long after, an elderly woman around 60 years old arrived to show me the room. Are you two living together?
Ba Liu asked.
Oh no, it's just for me. I explained hurriedly, feeling a little bit embarrassed. It's okay. This old lady is very open-minded. You young people, dating and all that, is perfectly normal, Ba Liu said with a chuckle. Su Woody's face turned beet red upon hearing that. Don't let her daily chatter fool you, speaking as smoothly as honey, because at times like this, she's as quiet as a clam. I looked through the room. It was very clean and tidy, and the natural light was also great, so I decided to rent it immediately. According to standard rental rules, 1 month's deposit and 3 months rent up front amounted to a total of 1,200 yuan. I said with a smile to Su Woody, little butterfly. 3 months from now, would you help me return this room? You can keep the remaining deposit to go eat mini hot pot. Su Woody blinked her large watery eyes.
Why won't you return the room yourself?
Perhaps by then, I won't be able to do it myself anymore. My gaze suddenly darkened. I guessed that by that time, I'd likely be in the hospital. Leaving the rental room, we went to a nearby supermarket together. To shop for some essential items, I specifically chose to buy a desk calendar, the kind where you tear off a page for every day that passes. 90 days, and it's only such a thin stack. By the time I walked out, I saw Su Woody tenderly holding a glass fish tank, with 2 bright red goldfish swimming inside. Zhuangziang, this is a gift for you. Congratulations on finding a new home.
Why are you giving me these 2 fish?
I'm already struggling to take care of myself, I muttered softly. This is to add some life to your new home. Promise me, absolutely don't let them die. Su Woody warned seriously. Don't let them die. I was momentarily stunned. I mean, these 2 fish. If you let them die, I definitely won't forgive you. Su Woody lightly shook her small fist. I looked deep into Su Woody's eyes. To be able to be friends with a girl like this is truly an immense happiness. But why did I have to wait until my life was nearing its end to meet you? Little butterfly, if only I could have known you a bit sooner. How wonderful that would have been to love until this heart breaks. Please don't blame anyone. Just because this meeting was so wonderful, even if tears dry up, even if wounds are so deep the heart turns to ash, then there's nothing left to fear or regret. Little butterfly, give me your phone number. So, next time I want to meet up, I can call you directly. On the way back to school, I had to arrange my words in my head for a long time before I could gather the courage to ask for her number. Su Woody reached into her pocket and pulled out a phone only as thick as a card. It was as thin as a piece of paper. This kind of device can only be used for calls and texts, completely incomparable to a smartphone in terms of features. We happily exchanged our contact information. Su Woody said, "It's best if you look for me during the day. I'm usually not around in the evening. Grandma doesn't allow me to play with my phone either. What is there to play with on this phone of yours?" I laughed out loud and said, "Zhuangzang, you're such a dummy. You're not allowed to laugh at me." Su Woody pretended to be angry and rushed forward to tug hard on my shirt. Class 9 is on the 2nd floor of the building, so we parted ways at the stairwell corner. Goodbye, little butterfly. I'll text you later.
Yeah, when I'm busy, I might not see the phone right away.
Once I do, I'll definitely reply to you. Watching Su Woody walk upstairs, I only then turned back toward my classroom. But halfway there, I suddenly remembered something and hurriedly turned around to head up the stairs, wanting to catch up and see clearly exactly which class little butterfly is in. But even after going through the 3rd, 4th, and 5th floors, I couldn't find any sign of her anymore. Did she walk that fast? I patted the stair railing and walked downstairs slowly in disappointment. We already consider each other friends. Yet she still won't tell me her real class. The final class ended exactly at 6 p.m. The class advisor, Zhang Zhiyuan, entered the classroom and waved for me to come over. "Zhuangzang, come with me." I hurriedly packed my bag and followed him. When we were a good distance from the classroom, I asked carefully Teacher Zhang, "Where are we going?" "To the hospital. I need to meet your attending physician in person to discuss with him in detail about the terminal illness you're carrying." I had only told this to Teacher Zhang Zhiyuan and pleaded with him to keep my secret. After all, he's the teacher I've respected the most. I didn't want to hide anything from him, yet Teacher Zhang Zhiyuan still refused to give up on any tiny chance to save my life, even if there really was no way to turn things around. He still wanted to hear the doctor confirm it personally. Arriving at the central hospital, I took Teacher Zhang Zhiyuan to Dr.
Chen Dexius' office.
Doctor. Chen slightly adjusted the glasses on the bridge of his nose, then reached out to shake Teacher Zhang's hand. "Hello." "Hello, doctor. Are you Zhuangziang's father?" Teacher Zhang Zhiyuan hurriedly corrected him. "Oh no, I'm his class advisor. With an illness this serious, why haven't his parents shown up yet?" "Doctor." Chen Dexiu expressed his great curiosity. His parents are both elsewhere, so they asked me to come and assess the situation first. Teacher Zhang Zhiyuan had to find an excuse to deflect. Then the two of them discussed my condition for a long time. "Doctor." Chen was an extremely cautious person, and his medical expertise was incredibly profound. He used many advanced medical terms. To summarize it in 8 words, severe illness, beyond cure. Even gods would find it hard to change. In Teacher Zhang Zhiyuan's eyes, the last flicker of hope finally died out slowly. The boy is only 18 years old. How did things end up like this? There was a girl who had this illness before, even younger than this boy. Anyway, let's not mention it again. When you discuss this with his parents, please try to choose your words very carefully. "Doctor." Chen sighed softly, leaving the hospital. Teacher Zhang Zhiyuan's mood became incredibly heavy, and he remained silent for a long time. Teacher Zhang, do you believe it now? I spoke with a tone of relief.
Zhuangzong, what do you want to eat tonight?
My treat.
Teacher Zhang Zhiyuan's voice was choked with pain. Did you forget what I said? I don't want sympathy or pity from anyone. No, that's not what I meant. Teacher Zhang hurriedly explained. Just taking me to the school gate is enough, sir. And please go home early to your wife and kids, I said generously. Although I wanted to take this chance to feast on Teacher Zhang's dime, I overdid it with the mini hot pot this noon. So tonight, I should probably eat something light to avoid putting too much pressure on my stomach. Returning to my rental room. Following the doctor's orders, I swallowed a large handful of colorful pills. A slight doubt flickered in my mind. I wonder what this pile of medicine actually does. If I take them, I live for 3 more months? And if I don't, it'll still only last 90 days. Night fell, covering everything in darkness. I tightly gripped the phone in my hand. To a contact saved as Zhao Hu Dai. Message after message was composed. Written, then edited, then deleted again and again. Finally, one sentence was finished. What do you want to eat tomorrow morning? I will bring it to you. But I waited and waited, and still, Su Yudi did not reply. Late at night like this, what could she be busy with? I stared at the screen and took a chance to give her a call. We are sorry. The number you have dialed is currently out of service area. Please try again later. In this day and age, is there still a place without signal? Are you a primitive person living in the mountains? Early the next morning, I woke up with a start. But when I picked up my phone and saw Su Yudi's message, my sleepiness vanished completely. I made some green dumplings by hand. Do you want some? Immediately typed a reply.
Sure. I'll buy the drinks then.
Fresh milk or soy milk?
Soy milk, please.
Wait for me at the bus stop. This time, Su Yudi replied instantly. I sprang out of bed, chose a light blue thin jacket, paired it with black trousers, and threw away yesterday's flowery shirt. This fits my long-standing good student image much better. Arriving at the bus stop, after waiting nearly 10 minutes, the number 19 bus slowly arrived. The doors opened, and Su Yudi stepped off. Seeing her, I felt a bit strange. It's been 3 days. And Shez always in the same outfit.
White clothes should get dirty easily.
But her shirt and shoes were always perfectly clean without a speck of dust. Xiao Dai, I called out.
Zhuangziang.
Sorry, have you been waiting long? Su Yudi blinked her large, sparkling eyes.
No, I just got here too.
Look, the soy milk is still hot. I smiled and said, here, have one. Su Yudi took out a green dumpling from her backpack. I took a bite. It was red bean filling. It was sweet and refreshing without being cloying.
Wow. It's both beautiful and delicious.
Did you really make this yourself? Su Yudi nodded. Of course, wormwood can clear heat and dispel dampness. Eat more and you definitely won't have nosebleeds anymore.
What?
Did you make this specifically for me? I was a bit taken aback. Of course, making this is quite a hassle.
I had to get up very early today.
Su Yudi covered her small mouth and yawned as she spoke. My heart suddenly felt warm. I never expected someone to put so much effort in for me.
What a pity.
This dumpling cannot cure my nosebleeds. Xiao Dai, my health is fine. Don't do so much for me in the future. Su Yudi shook her head stubbornly. No. We're friends. Friends should look out for each other. I silently bit into the dumpling. My heart, a mess of emotions. Odd, are you playing a joke on me? Why, when I'm about to die? Did you bring someone like her into my life? Oh, right. Zhuangziang. Sorry, I'm not allowed to use my phone at night. I only saw your message this morning. Su Yudi suddenly remembered the message and hurriedly apologized. It's okay. I knew you'd reply once you saw it. It's almost time for class. Thanks for the soy milk. Bye. Su Yudi lightly stepped up the stairs, vanishing around the corner in a few steps. When I walked into the classroom,
Lu Ruyan was eating fried buns.
Ji Boda was beside her, sucking up, poking a straw into a carton of hot milk for her. As expected, a campus belle is never short of simps. She doesn't even need to buy fried buns. People compete to buy them for her. When Lu Ruyan saw me, her expression became a bit strained, and she spoke up.
Zhuangziang.
I said I didn't need it, but Ji Boda insisted on buying it for me. I gave an indifferent smile.
Why are you telling me this?
And I flopped into my seat and pulled a magazine out of Teng Cheng's desk to read. Lu Ruyan was stunned, frozen in place. Ruyan, drink the milk. It's still hot. Ji Boda was still devotedly simping for the bell. Ji Boda, don't buy breakfast for me anymore. I'm afraid Zhuangziang will misunderstand. Lu Ruyan frowned slightly. Hearing this, Ji Boda felt like he had fallen into an ice cellar. Snow fell purely white. The north wind wailed desolately. Heaven and earth turned a shade of gloom. After morning classes ended, I went down to the cafeteria with Teng Cheng. Actually, I had hesitated several times, wanting to message Su Yudi to have lunch together. Then I thought, since we just met this morning, bothering her constantly might seem a bit too clingy. So I gave up on the idea. Hey,
Why do you look like your mind is somewhere else?
Teng Cheng asked curiously. I don't. I'm very seriously eating my lunch. Though my mouth was busy eating, my eyes never stopped searching the crowd. If looking for someone, Teng Cheng asked mysteriously, tell me more.
How did you meet that girl?
So I began telling him everything from the chance meeting under the ginkgo tree, the story of Su Yudi gradually unfolding, all the way to finishing our books at the library and seeing her off on the number 19 bus. You said you both ran into Mr. Zhang, and then held hands and ran for half a block. Tang Cheng's eyes widened.
That's right.
Skipping class and bumping right into the homeroom teacher. No one could be unluckier than me, right? I gave a bitter laugh.
That's not the point.
The point is, you already held that girl's hand. Don't you know that holding hands leads to pregnancy? Tang Cheng cried out. Stop talking nonsense. Do you think I'm a 3-year-old? Annoyed, I snatched a piece of braised meat from his plate. Tang Cheng, a guy who's been single since birth, kept shamelessly pestering me, demanding I describe how it felt to hold a girl's hand. Was it soft? Was it smooth? Did my heart race? But I didn't bother paying him any attention. Hey there, busy eater. Can I sit here? Suddenly, a familiar gentle voice rang out. I looked up in surprise and met Su Yudi's eyes. Tang Cheng hurriedly said, "Please sit. Please sit." Hi. I'm Su Yudi, Zhuang Zhang's friend. Su Yudi introduced herself to Tang Cheng. My name is Tang Cheng. I'm Zhuang Zhang's daddy. No. I'm also his best friend. Tang Cheng had never spoken to such a beautiful girl before, so he was a bit tongue-tied. I sighed inwardly.
What a hopeless guy.
His tongue gets all twisted the moment he sees a pretty girl. Drinks are on me.
What would you like to drink?
Su Yudi looked at the nearby vending machine. Great. I'll have a Fanta, Tang Cheng said quickly.
I'll have a Coke.
After returning with the drinks, Su Yudi asked Tang Cheng, "Is Zhuangzang usually a very boring person?" Tang Cheng nodded emphatically. He's an emotionless homework-making machine. He can't do anything besides studying, especially gaming. He's so bad he makes me want to cry. Gaming? Su Yudi's eyes showed clear confusion. You know Arena of Valor? Don't you play it? Tang Cheng asked. His phone probably only has Snake and Tetris on it. She chuckled and said, "You dummy, Zhuangzang. Don't mock my phone." Su Yudi pouted her lips, looking incredibly adorable. "Xiao Dai, my bad." Seeing her about to make a move, I hurriedly begged for mercy. "Xiao Dai." Tang Cheng was stunned. "You've only known each other for a few days, and you're already using such cheesy nicknames. I'm the butterfly. Im Dai." Su Yudi pointed to herself. In this moment, Tang Cheng felt like a third wheel. Not even playing Arena of Valor. These two are definitely from the same world.
Wait, that line sounds familiar.
Are you sure you don't play? After lunch, 3 of them walked out of the cafeteria. It wasn't even 12:30 yet. I planned to head back to my rental for a nap. So I asked Su Yudi, "I'm going home for a nap. Want to come with me?" Huh? Su Yudi looked shy. Who asks something like that so directly? Tang Cheng was also embarrassed. Should I go ahead then? I rented a 1-bedroom apartment. The sofa in the living room. If Xiao Dai wanted to come over, I could give her the bed and sleep on the sofa myself. But that tactless Tang Cheng insisted on seeing my new place no matter what. Finally, Su Yudi smiled and said goodbye, saying she'd head back to class for a nap. I shot Tang Cheng a murderous glare. "I'm afraid I can't let you stay here anymore." Then the 2 of us went back to the rental. 30-square-meter room. Took Tang Cheng only 2.5 seconds to tour. Not bad. I want to move out and live alone too. I glared at him. Isn't your 180-square-meter duplex good enough for you? Forgive me for being wild and loving freedom my whole life. This kid really doesn't know how good he has it. If I had a happy family like his, I could never bring myself to leave home. Then both of us took off our shoes and lay side by side on the bed, staring at the plain white ceiling. Hey, Su Yudi is so beautiful. Are you planning to drop Lu Ruyan and pursue her instead? Tang Cheng asked nosily. Don't talk nonsense. I've only known her for 3 days. I immediately denied it. A girl like her easily makes people fall in love at first sight.
Why are you still pretending?
Facing this question, a sharp pain rose in my heart. I won't pursue her. I don't have the right. How could someone with only 3 months to live pursue a girl?
Wouldn't that just be hurting her?
I no longer deserve to have love. Tang Cheng was dazed by my sudden,
Drop in spirits.
not pursuing such a lovely girl. Are you sick? I continued to stare at the ceiling, smiling sorrowfully. Yes, I'm sick. Of course. Tang Cheng didn't catch the deep meaning in my words, thinking there was just something wrong with my head, or that I was just too shy to admit I liked her. So I didn't want to acknowledge it. After a silence, I suddenly asked, "Hey, if we don't see each other again in the future, will you miss me?" "Miss your head. Go wherever you want, and leave me in peace. I'm jealous of you to death. You're handsome. You're smart. You make me look like a total loser." Tang Cheng grumbled.
I'm the one with the problem.
Being friends with the top student in the grade, whenever I make a small mistake at home, my parents use you as an example to lecture me.
Why are you so annoying?
If you didn't exist,
I'd probably buy a string of firecrackers to celebrate.
I turned over slightly, and a tear silently fell onto the pillow. Scenes from the past flickered in my mind. On the first day of school, I met Tang Cheng. Very quickly, we became as close as brothers. This guy is easygoing, simple-minded, always acting like he's missing a nerve, never knowing what sadness is. He really treats me like family. When I was class president, he was always the most enthusiastic supporter. Whenever there was a class activity, he participated actively, making my job so much easier. When I liked Lu Ruyan, he acted as my wingman, supporting me fully. Later, when he saw Lu Ruyan's true colors, he decisively told me to give her up. He even invited me over whenever his family had good food. To the point his parents joked they were raising 2 sons. Tang Cheng got tired of complaining and was snoring within 2.5 minutes. I looked at Teng Cheng's sleeping face. I'm lucky to have such a good brother, so that when I look back on my youth, it's not all bitter. Hey, promise me! When I'm gone, don't be too sad. Just do as you said. Buy a string of firecrackers and send me off. If you ever get the chance. To see the final episode of Detective Conan, remember to burn a copy for me. From the other side, I will watch over you for a peaceful life. On the way to school the next day, Teng Cheng was like a hyperactive child, miming basketball shots, kicking pebbles on the road, and bumping into trees. I pointed to a ginkgo tree by the road. Can you reach that leaf over there? Teng Cheng swiped his nose and said with full confidence, "What if I can? Then you're the man." I laughed. The words, "you're the man," are the highest praise between boys. To earn that honor, he would do anything. Teng Cheng took a few steps of a run-up, then leaped into the air, plucking that large ginkgo leaf. Am I the man? Or what? Teng Cheng proudly handed the leaf to me. This leaf is only beautiful when it turns yellow in autumn. Autumn is still so far away. I probably won't live to see it, I whispered to myself. Only 10 minutes into the first afternoon class, Mr.
Zhang Zhiyuan came to call me out.
The whole class was surprised. Mr. Zhang has been calling him out quite often lately. Hasn't he already stepped down as class president? Mr. Zhang, you keep looking for me like this. The way the other students look at me is getting weirder. I complained as we stood in the hallway. I have no choice, your father is here. Mr. Zhang Ji-yuan shrugged. What is he doing here? I was incredibly shocked. Since I moved back here for school, Zhuang Wenjiao has only visited once. That was on the first day to handle registration. And even then, he only stayed for half an hour. After getting a call from a gambling buddy, he hurried off. From then on, whether it was holidays or the start of a term, or even parent-teacher meetings, he always had an excuse to skip. Sometimes he didn't even bother with an excuse, just stating boldly, "You're not a child anymore. You still need a parent to drop you off and pick you up." I could only laugh bitterly. Even when I was a child, you never dropped me off. Arriving at the teacher's office, I saw my father sitting there with a livid face, and Qin Shulan standing beside him with her arms crossed.
Father, what are you doing here?
My face was cold. My father questioned me loudly.
Zhuangxiang.
Think you're all grown up now, do you? You have the nerve to run away from home. Do you even see me as your father anymore? And you slapped me without knowing right from wrong. Did you even see me as your son? I remained incredibly calm. The greatest pain is when the heart turns cold. I no longer had any hope for this father. I left home. Wasn't it to give the three of you back your happy family? Isn't that a win-win situation? Qin Shulan cut in, sighing. Your father was just a bit hot-headed back then. He was just afraid you would do something to hurt Wu Hang. If you resent your father over such a small thing, you're being truly unreasonable. It sounded like advice, but it was delivered with a sarcastic, biting tone. She didn't mention Zhuang Wu Hang's fault at all, only focusing on driving a wedge between my father and me. Having lived with this woman for over 10 years, I knew her needle hidden in cotton tactics all too well. Aunt Qin. While talking to my father. Please keep your mouth shut.
What kind of attitude is that?
Qin Shulan shot a glance at my father. Look at this good son you raised. He doesn't have an ounce of respect for his elders. My father flared up in rage. I am your father? If I hit you, it's only right. You have to stand there and take it. How dare you speak to Aunt Qin like that? Apologize immediately. You don't even know basic manners. All that studying is just a waste of time. An elder. The corner of my mouth quirked into a mocking smile. By what right do you bring a strange woman home and force me to call her aunt, and then she naturally becomes my superior? Does she have anything to do with me, even for half a cent? Besides stabbing me in the back and hurling indirect insults, what else can she do? For over 10 years, I've put up with this woman and her pig-stupid son. I've had enough. Today, even if the sky falls, I will never acknowledge her as my elder. Father, if you only came here today to argue with me, then you can leave now. This is a school, not a place for you to cause a scene. My eyes were as cold as ice. You're coming home with me today. Your grandfather heard you ran away, and his heart condition has flared up again, just because of your stupidity and selfishness. How much trouble have you caused this family? He scolded me, and I gave a small sneer. I knew it. Seems grandfather forced you to come and bring me back. Otherwise, you'd be busy at the mahjong parlor right now. One question, are you coming back or not?
Am not.
My gaze was firm. Finally escaped that suffocating house. Why would I be stupid enough to go back? My resistance made him feel he was losing face. You animal? Think I can't discipline you? I showed no fear. Father, you should leave. At least for now, I still want to call you father. Let's preserve our final bit of dignity. When I was 5, not long after my father divorced my mother, he often went out drinking and would stumble home in a drunken stupor, often grabbing me while I was fast asleep, finding any excuse to beat and scold me. He scolded me because I looked too much like my mother, so just seeing me was an eyesore to him. He scolded me because this mouth only knew how to eat and waste money. Later, when he started dating Qin Shulan, he hid the fact that he had a son and sent me to the countryside to be cared for by my grandparents. I attended kindergarten in the village for half a year. Then, at my grandparents' insistence, they finally brought me back to the city so I could receive a better education. But even though my father was my legal guardian, the ones who actually raised me were my grandparents from the countryside. Every month, they sent my living expenses to my father's card and asked him to transfer it to me. But acting as the middleman, whenever my father lost at gambling or had a run of bad luck, he would often skim money off my allowance. Now, even though he was in the school office, my father was about to roll up his sleeves to strike me.
Stop.
Mr. Zhang Jiyuan rushed in to intervene just in time. My father glared at Mr.
Zhang Jiyuan.
What kind of way does this school teach its students, letting him become this rebellious? I see he has grown a backbone of defiance. You haven't even attended a single parent-teacher meeting. So how could you possibly know how the school has been raising your son? Of course you wouldn't have a clue. Teacher Zhang Jiyuan was one to back down, glaring right back at him. I see you're about to turn him into a total failure. He roared at the top of his lungs. Fine. Then today, I'll let you see for yourself exactly what kind of person we've helped your son become. Teacher Zhang Jiyuan began to lose his temper as well. He yanked open his desk drawer and pulled out a thick stack of documents. There were all the score sheets from various exams, big and small, from the past 2 years.
See for yourself.
Teacher Zhang Jiyuan slammed the transcript pile down in front of my father. My father picked up the first transcript. It was the report from the entrance exam 2 years ago. At the very first line, the name Zhuangxiang stood out brilliantly. With a total score of 689, ranked first in the class, and also holding the first place in the entire grade. Then, he picked up the second sheet. It was from the first monthly exam. Zhuangxiang was still at the top of the chart, just as before. The third sheet was the midterm. The fourth was another monthly exam, and the fifth was the final exam. After looking through every single transcript, Zhuang Wenzao's eyes filled with disbelief and shock, without a single exception. Zhuang Zhang's name was like it had been nailed into that top line, unshakable as a rock. Jin Shulin, standing beside him, had also finished looking at the scores. She muttered under her breath, "In this school of yours, is it really that hard to rank first in the grade?" Zhang Jiyuan looked at her as if she were a total fool. There are 22 classes in the entire grade. Over 1,000 students, what do you think? With more than 1,000 students in the grade, holding the #1 spot for 2 consecutive years. How immense do you think that difficulty is? My father probably couldn't even fathom it. He only knew that his youngest son, Zhuang Yuhang, who is in elementary school, has a class of over 40 students, and one only needs to look at Zhuang Yuhang's rank to know exactly how many students are in his class. Mr. Zhuang, you have never once come to a school parent-teacher meeting. However many parents of the students in my class all want to get to know you. Zhang Jiyuan said in a heavy voice. Get to know me.
For what?
My father was a bit taken aback. They want to ask you for advice on how to raise a child who is so outstanding. Zhang Jiyuan chuckled mockingly. Isn't it quite ironic? My father's expression was grim. For a moment, he didn't know how to argue back. Mr. Zhuang, if this isn't enough, I can show you a few more photos as well. Zhang Jiyuan took out his phone, opened a private photo album, and handed it to my father. Those were photos of me receiving awards and competitions over the past 2 years. In this photo, he wasn't just fighting for himself, but for the class, bringing so much honor to the school. Other people's children, even if they only get 3rd place, would receive a hug and words of encouragement from their parents. But every time Zhuangxiang won 1st place, he could only stand all alone on the podium, watching others with eyes full of longing. Almost every single time, the person by his side was just a homeroom teacher like me. Please, ask your own heart. Are you truly a qualified father? Faced with Zhang Jiyuan's interrogation, my father was instantly speechless. Hearing my teacher's words, I tried my best to hold it in, but my eyes were already rimmed with red. Isn't family affection something you're born with? Why is it that what others obtain so easily, I have given my absolute all for, yet still end up empty-handed? But at this very moment, I have completely given up hope. I no longer crave recognition from my father, nor do I wish to see the mother I haven't met in all these years. Anyway, I was never their pride and joy. With only 3 months left to live, please just let me face death in peace. The office fell silent for a long time, till finally my father spoke up. Teacher, even if Zhuangxiang's grades are good, that's still no excuse for him to talk back to his parents and run away. If I had to live in a family like that, I would run away too. Zhang Jiyuan snapped indignantly.
What?
As a teacher, how can you say such things? My father flew into a towering rage, precisely because I'm a teacher. Bad him even speaking politely to you. Otherwise, my words would be far more unpleasant. Zhang Jiyuan shot back sharply, not yielding a single inch. At that moment, Qin Shulan's phone rang, the piercing ringtone shattering the stifling atmosphere. She answered, said a few words, and hurriedly hung up. Then she leaned in close to my father's ear and whispered, "You Hang got into a fight at school. The teacher told us to head over there immediately." My father instantly glared at me with ferocious eyes. "I'm asking you one last time. Are you coming home or not?"
Am not.
That place isn't my home. My mind was made up. Fine, if you don't come back today, then don't you ever dare show your face again for the rest of your life. My father kicked the chair aside and stormed out in a huff. Qin Shulan followed close behind, her eyes unable to hide the schadenfreude at my misery. Only teacher Zhang and I remained in the office. Every ounce of strength within me seemed to have completely withered away. Zhuangxiang, don't be too sad. There are still many people in this world who love you, like me or Tang Cheng. Please, think of us more often. Zhang Jiyuan advised gently.
Teacher Zhang, thank you.
I clenched my teeth, struggling to hold back the tears. Teacher Zhang, can I take the afternoon off? With this state of mind anyway, I wouldn't be able to focus on anything. All right, I'll approve your leave. Go and clear your head for a bit. Stepping out of the office, I felt like a lost soul. Walking aimlessly, suddenly, a ding sounded, and my phone in my pocket received a text. Xiao Hudi, Zhuangxiang, You big dummy. Are you feeling down again? I quickly texted back. How did you know I took the afternoon off? Xiao Hudi replied immediately. Come to the wall to pick me up. It's too high for me to jump down. After getting the message, I headed to the spot where we climbed the wall 2 days ago. From afar, I could see Su Wudi sitting on the wall, her small feet in white canvas shoes, dangling in midair. The wall is so high, how did you even get up there? I asked curiously. I borrowed a ladder from the equipment room.
Su Wudi explained with a smile.
I became even more puzzled. How could a girl as beautiful as a school bell carry a ladder across the stadium without getting caught by the guards?
What are you dazing about? Catch me.
Su Wudi urged. I quickly spread my arms wide, signaling for her to jump down. Su Wudi took the leap, falling accurately into my arms. She was so light. Lifting her took no effort at all. Gazing at her flawless, exquisite face from such a close distance, my breath grew heavy, my heart thumping wildly. Are you planning to hold me like this forever? Su Wudi's small face flushed a soft pink. Only then did I snap out of it, awkwardly setting her down on the ground. Xiao Hudi, are you skipping class again?
Want your homeroom teacher caused trouble for you.
In not skipping. I have a leave of absence slip. Of course I didn't believe her. How could that be? Do you take me for a 3-year-old? Su Wudi took off her crossbody bag, unzipped it, and pulled out a stack of leave slips. They were already signed by her homeroom teacher, but the date part was left blank, which meant any day Su Wudi wanted to go out, she could just fill in the date herself. Is that even possible? My eyes widened in astonishment. Is this what they call someone else's homeroom teacher? But wait, if you have leave slips, why do you still need to climb the wall? Taking this route is faster, and I can eat so many delicious snacks too. The foodie logic of Su Wudi left me speechless. I always felt this girl was quite mysterious, making it impossible to see through her. I moved on to another question. How did you know I was sad? Su Wudi raised her right hand, using her index finger to gently poke my chest. She tiptoed slightly, leaning close to my ear. Because we're friends. So we have telepathy. The warmth from her breath made my neck feel a tingle. This telepathy reason sounds a bit too casual. Follow me. Su Wudi naturally grabbed my wrist, leading me away from the snack street, down a long flight of stone steps. Su Wudi then took off her shoes and socks, revealing her fair, jade-like feet, gently stepping onto the smooth pebbles. Tiny waves with white foam soaked the hem of her deep blue dress. You take off your shoes too. Come down and play with me. Su Wudi waved me over. We're clearly supposed to be in class, yet here we are playing with water. Is this really okay? I hesitated slightly. From the time you were little until now, have you always followed the rules like this? This sentence instantly hit my sore spot. True. Why must I always live by the rules? I quickly took off my shoes, rolled up my pants, and stepped carefully one by one onto the pebbles to reach Su Wudi's side. Su Wudi cupped her hands around her mouth, turned toward the gently flowing river, and shouted, "Zhuangxiang is a big dummy." The shout drifted with the wind into the bridge archway, echoing back in waves of sound. "Zhuangxiang is a big dummy. Big dummy. Why are you calling me names again? A dummy wouldn't know how to watch One Piece." I grumbled with dissatisfaction. Because you're always moping, just torturing yourself. Isn't that exactly being a big dummy? Su Wudi pouted her cherry-like lips. She shouted again. Big dummy. You have to be happy every day. I turned to look at Xiao Hudi's perfect profile, and an indescribable pain suddenly welled up in my heart. It felt like I had been poisoned by this girl. Even though I knew it was impossible, I kept sinking deeper, unable to pull myself away. 3 months from now, how am I supposed to face that farewell? I used all my strength to keep from crying out loud, but stifled sobs still escaped me. 2 days ago, when I saw my diagnosis at the hospital, although there was a moment of shock, it wasn't even that heartbreaking, because in this cold world, originally, there was nothing left for me to miss, but now my heart was filled with 10,000 regrets. Why? Oh, why did I have to meet you? At the exact time I am so gravely ill, I struggled to stop the flow of tears. Xiao Hudi, am not sad anymore. Let the river water wash away all your troubles. From now on, you must live happily every single day. Su Wudi said with a sniffle. Suddenly, a large wave surged in. The river water rose a bit more. Reaching up to Su Wudi's calves, she had to use both hands to bunch up the hem of her dress, backing away bit by bit. The stones are very slippery. Be careful not to fall. I quickly warned her, carry me up. Su Wudi's small face showed a hint of panic. Without saying a word, I slipped my arms under her knees and lifted her in a princess carry. Since I had already carried her twice while climbing the wall, I was already quite used to it. Both of us went to the grass and sat down. Su Wudi rested her tiny, beautiful feet on my legs to dry. I asked myself, I was never someone with a foot fetish before, but those fair, soft feet right before my eyes still made me unable to resist taking a few peeks. Big dummy, why do you keep staring at my feet? Su Wudi asked with a blush. Am not, I was looking at the grass. I stubbornly refused to admit it. You've looked at them 7 times already.
Nonsense. My gaze just needs a place to land.
Feeling exposed, my cheeks burned slightly. Fine. It's not like I'm blaming you. Help me put my shoes on. Put them on yourself. It's not like you don't have hands. Stingy guy. Su Woody and I just sat there on the grass, absent-mindedly staring up at the sky, silently admiring the drifting clouds. Occasionally, a few butterflies would flutter past our view. If only I were truly a little butterfly, that would be great. I could fly to the other bank to see the scenery there. Su Woody sighed wistfully. We can fly a kite, letting it see that place on our behalf, I suggested with a smile. Then Su Woody looked at the position of the sun, shook her head and said, "It's too late today. I have to go catch the bus in a bit. Can't you go back a bit later?" I felt a little disappointed. I can't. Grandma will be angry if I'm late. From Su Woody's tone, it seemed her grandmother was quite strict. She absolutely had to take the 6:10 bus. Xiao Hudi, tomorrow is Saturday, no school. How about we come here to fly a kite? I proposed another option. Sure. Let's meet at Jishan Park tomorrow morning. Su Woody nodded in immediate agreement. Just then, my father's call came in. I stared at the screen for over 10 seconds before sliding to answer. Dad, what is it this time? Zhuangxiang, your brother got into a fight with a friend at school. Things have gotten a bit complicated. You need to get over here right now. His voice was harsh, carrying a commanding tone. Isn't him fighting others a daily occurrence?
What does that have to do with me?
I found it ridiculous. Homeroom teacher of the student he fought with heard it was actually your elementary school literature teacher. If you come here and say a few nice words, then this matter will be settled easily. The elementary school Zhuang Yuheng attends is also my alma mater, since I ranked first in the entire grade every time. Many teachers still remember the name Zhuangxiang. This time Zhuang Yuheng fought a student from another class and broke the other person's nasal bridge. That student's parents are both currently elsewhere, but the homeroom teacher adamantly refused to let it go, insisting my father provide a satisfactory explanation. Learning that the teacher had once taught me, my father immediately planned to play the emotional card. Unexpectedly, they didn't care at all, even thinking he was talking nonsense. In the same family, how could two children be raised so completely opposite as Zhuangxiang and Zhuang Yuheng? My father wanted to prove he was my dad, but after rummaging through his phone's photo album for ages, he couldn't find a single photo of me anywhere. In his helplessness, he had to swallow his pride and call me, telling me to go over there. If he hit someone, then you parents should just pay the compensation. If an apology is needed, then apologize. I'm very busy right now. I don't have time to go.
Zhuangxiang, I raised you this big.
Yet you don't have a shred of gratitude.
Yu Heng is your brother.
If Hez in trouble, will you as the older brother not even help? You're so highly educated, yet you don't even know the basic principles of being a decent person. Basic human principles, huh? You should go discuss those thoroughly with your precious son. I don't have time to interfere. I didn't care to listen to my father's nagging any longer, and decisively hung up. Then Suwudi and I headed to the bus stop. Many students leaving school were already waiting for the bus there. As soon as Suwudi appeared, she immediately caught all the boys' attention. This girl was truly too beautiful. If the atmosphere around her had turned sweeter. However, I felt a bit bothered, honestly just wanting to get a giant mask to hide that face of hers. Bus number 19 was slowly turning into the corner of the street, meaning it was almost time to say goodbye. Even knowing we'd meet again tomorrow, my heart still felt a bit of reluctance. Tomorrow, I'll wait for you at the park. You absolutely must come. Of course, I'll come. If you don't believe me, let's pinky swear. Suwudi held out her right pinky finger. I frowned slightly. We're 18 now? Isn't pinky swearing a bit too childish? So many people are looking. Hurry up. Suwudi couldn't wait any longer. She just grabbed my hand and hooked our pinkies together. Pinky swear. Promise now. It won't change even for 100 years. Su, Woody muttered, and didn't forget to press our thumbs together to seal it. Looking incredibly solemn, a pinky swear is the most sacred oath of a child. In the adult world, despite using countless legal and moral frameworks to bind human trust, there are still always betrayals, deceitful backpedaling. Goodbye, Zhao Hudi. Goodbye, big dummy. I stood watching the bus as it slowly drove away until the taillights vanished completely before turning to leave. But after only a few steps, a black car suddenly pulled up beside me. The window rolled down, revealing Lu Ruyan's face. Ever since I met Xiao Hudi, I found this face looking more and more ordinary the more I saw it. Zhuangxiang, tomorrow is Saturday, and I don't have anything planned either. The grade school Belle Liu thought that just by saying this, I would take the initiative to ask her out. Her surprise, I just replied indifferently. If you have nothing to do, stay home and practice exam questions. Your grades have been slipping quite a bit lately. Lu Ruyan froze upon hearing that. Completely unexpected that I wouldn't give her any face at all. I've already taken the initiative to give you a chance, and you're still playing hard to get. Jibata invited me to see a movie tomorrow. Lu Ruyan added another sentence. Oh, then I wish you two a fun time. I replied flatly when Lu Ruyan didn't get the answer she wanted. She had absolutely no idea how to react next.
Zhuangzang, what on earth is wrong with you?
It's just that I didn't immediately accept your pursuit, and you already gave up on chasing me.
Last time I said you didn't have a chance.
It was just an angry outburst. Don't you realize that? I have such a kind heart. As long as you persist and don't give up to show me your true feelings, then your chance of winning me over is still very high. You're not allowed to park on the roadside. You should head off now. I dropped that sentence and just kept walking straight, leaving Liu Ruyan alone, dazed in the wind, feeling the defeat of her spare tire being completely out of control. When I got back to the dorm, I found Teng Cheng waiting at the door. I smiled and asked, "Hey man, what are you doing here?" Teng Cheng answered grumpily, "You skipped school again this afternoon?
Wasn't it because I was worried about you?
And why couldn't I reach you on your phone?" Only then did I remember that earlier, not wanting to answer my dad's call, I had set it to do not disturb mode. I quickly apologized.
All right, my bad.
"Hey brother, lately you've been doing this over and over, either asking for leave or skipping classes. Are you hiding something from me?" Even as carefree as Teng Cheng is, he had noticed my unusual behavior. For a top student who always ranks first in the grade, to miss school this often was unprecedented. Faced with my closest brother, I intended to keep my illness a secret for now, so that if he found out a bit later, the pain would also arrive a bit later. If a free spirit like Teng Cheng were to shed tears, it wouldn't be cool at all anymore. My dad came to school and really annoyed me. I was in a good mood, so I asked Teacher Zhang for leave. This was also my honest truth, just with a little something kept to myself. Just thinking of that gambling addict dad of yours. To think he'd still dare show his face at school. If you're afraid of being labeled an unfilial son, then let me take action and teach the old man a lesson. Teng Cheng was burning with rage. Forget it, Im. Just afraid you wouldn't be able to outfight him. A surge of warmth suddenly rose in my heart. Having one soulmate in life is enough. This quote is from Mr.
Lu Shun.
It's truly a Lu Xun famous saying. I originally planned to stay in the dorm and finish my bowl of sour and spicy instant noodles. But Teng Cheng insisted that since the weekend was rare, he had to pull me back to his house for a meal. Along the way, he called his mother Mrs. Fan Lin, telling her to make a few more dishes that I love. I deeply respect Teng Cheng's parents. They're so sincere and kind, elegant, and very approachable, unlike my father Zhuang Wenjiao, who is always full of aggression. And even less like my stepmother Qin Shulan with her sinister heart. Xiao Zhuang, you're here. You two just sit and relax for a while. Dinner is almost ready. I just followed Deng Cheng through the front door. When I heard the warm greetings from his parents,
Hello, Uncle and Auntie.
I'm here to bother your family again. Uncle Tian Yun, sitting on the sofa watching TV, said with a smile. Xiao Zhuang, I can't thank you enough. Ever since Deng Cheng started hanging out with you, his grades have improved tremendously. Evening news was playing on the TV. Medical experts stated that, due to the deteriorating environment and the immense pressure of modern life, number of cancer patients is trending younger and younger. Many young people at the peak of their youth, unfortunately, fall victim to terminal illnesses. Uncle Tian Yun sighed with regret after watching, then reminded Deng Cheng, Xiao Zhuang, you two must eat properly at school and take good care of your health. Dad, don't you worry? With this body of mine, could even pass the pilot exam. Deng Cheng confidently patted his chest. I could only bite my lower lip, unable to utter a single word. Elsewhere, Zhuang Wenjiao was dealing with Zhuang Wuheng's fight. He had been overwhelmed all afternoon, having to pay a large sum in compensation and force Zhuang Wuheng to apologize to finally get the matter settled. By the time he got home, it was pitch black outside.
Wu Heng, please cause less trouble for me from now on.
Zhuang Wenjiao spoke with a rare tone of severity.
Why are you shouting so loud?
What if you scare Wu Heng? Qin Shulin immediately jumped to her son's defense, saying with a sarcastic and mocking tone, Isn't this all because Zhuang Xingang hit Wu Heng the other day? Hez in a bad mood because of it, which is why he got into a conflict with his classmate at school. Zhuang Wu Heng took the opportunity to shift the blame. That's right. It's all Zhuang Xineng's fault. He should just drop dead out there and never show his face here again. For the time being, probably won't be coming back. Zhuang Wenjiao felt mentally and physically exhausted, looking at the clutter scattered all over the house, and the filthy floor only made him more frustrated. Previously, Zhuang Zhengang would always clean everything up quietly.
Why is it that after he's been gone for only 2 days,
the house has already turned into such a mess? At that moment, the phone in Zhuang Wenjiao's pocket rang again. It was his father calling from the countryside. He quickly answered, using sweet words to soothe him. Hez just being throwing a tantrum. Dad, just let him stay out for a few days, and hell come back on his own. I'm his father. It's only natural for me to discipline him. As for being sick in the hospital, he's so young, nothing serious could happen. After calming his father down, Zhuang Wenjiao collapsed onto the sofa. The scene in the school office this afternoon replayed in his mind like a movie.
Was Zhuang Xineng really that outstanding?
Why? As his father, had he never known?
Qin Shulin was beside him, complaining that Ziangang was so smart, yet wouldn't bother to tutor Wu Heng, leaving him at the bottom of the class. He truly has no sense of responsibility as an older brother. In the end, he's just a selfish person who only cares about himself. No matter how smart he is, if his character is trash, he's useless. An unknown fire suddenly flared up inside Zhuang Wenjiao, and he slammed his hand down on the table. He is my son. Since when is it your turn to criticize him? You'd better focus on raising your own son well. I'd be happy if he just stopped causing me trouble. He had thought that without Zhuang Xinong, they would become a happy family of 3. But now he realized he had been far too naive. After Deng Cheng and I finished dinner, we slipped into the bedroom and he called out, Hey, spill it. Where did you run off to this afternoon? Deng Cheng looked at me as if he were interrogating a criminal. Su Yudi and I sat by the river all afternoon. I confessed honestly. Shall Hu die again? Deng Cheng stared into my eyes for a long time, then let out a sigh.
You're done for.
You've truly fallen in love. I quickly denied it, Stop talking nonsense. We're just good friends. Ask your own heart. Do you really only want to be friends with her? Deng Cheng grinned mischievously. That question made me feel uneasy. Su Yudi was such a lovely girl. Any normal guy would be moved by her. But I'm not normal. I'm terminally ill. I have no right to let my heart be moved. My boy She's a good girl. Hundreds of times better than Lu Ruyan. Go for it, okay? I'll be your best man in the future. Deng Cheng held beautiful expectations for the future, wanting to be my best man, and a sudden surge of bitterness welled up inside me. That future was so wonderful that I didn't even dare to dream of it. I suddenly realized I'm increasingly reluctant to leave this world, reluctant to leave Deng Cheng, and even more reluctant to leave Zhao Hu Dai. But this cruel illness will not allow me to have such long-term life plans. It seems as though the heavens are playing a massive joke on me. Remembering our date tomorrow morning, I didn't stay overnight at Deng Cheng's house, but returned to my rented room instead. Gazing up at the night sky, it was filled with shimmering stars. I've heard that after people die, they become stars in the sky. So, which star will I become? I picked up my phone as if compelled by something and dialed Zhao Hu Dai's number once more. I'm sorry, the number you have dialed is currently out of the service area. Please try again later. It was exactly like last time. Every time night falls, Zhao Hu Dai disappears, completely unreachable, only to suddenly reappear the next day, like a mysterious shooting star passing by, lighting up my otherwise dark life. The following day, I went to Jishan Park, and after searching for a while, I found Su Yudi by the flower bed. It was already the 4th day, and she was still wearing the same outfit. Her clothes were pristinely clean without a speck of dust, looking just like brand new. She was holding a cardboard box, absorbed in feeding the stray cats. Her eyes filled with love and compassion. A whole clouder of cats of all different colors surrounded her in the center, constantly letting out meows. Short whiskers, where did you go? You've gotten yourself all dirty. Pudding? Have you been sneaking off on dates behind my back lately? Oh, jeez. You're just skin and bones. Hurry up and eat some more. Standing at a distance, I overheard Su Yudi chatting with the cats. I found the scene so delightful, never imagining she would give each stray cat such a unique name. Xiao Hu Dai, I called out. Zhuangzhen, you're here. Su Yudi turned around and smiled. And in that moment, it felt as though all the flowers faded before her beauty. I silently breathed a sigh of relief, glad that she didn't call me a big idiot. I shook the breakfast bag in my hand. You nourish the cats, and I'm here to nourish you. This little glutton, Su Yudi, had absolutely no resistance to delicious food. She immediately took the bag from me, sat down by the flower bed, and began eating with gusto, not forgetting to share some with the little cats as she ate. I kept my eyes fixed on her, a gentle smile touching my lips. A girl this beautiful, yet she didn't act reserved at all, nor did she care about her image while eating.
What are you looking at me for?
You should eat too. You big idiot. Su Yudi shot me a look, and only then did I pull my gaze away. Picking up the warm milk to take a sip, I felt so strange. Even being called a big idiot made me feel a bit restless. While eating, Su Yudi would occasionally glance around everywhere, if searching for something. I noticed and immediately asked,
"What are you looking for?"
Su Yudi slightly furrowed her brows. Tom hasn't shown up yet. Tom, I asked, a bit puzzled. The little gray cat. He usually looks so silly, just like the cat from that cartoon. The image of a silly cat who could never catch a mouse immediately popped into my head. A cat that had brought innocent laughter to so many children's lives. Has a stray, after all. He's probably just off playing somewhere. He'll surely be back in a few days. I tried to comfort Su Yudi, but she said no. I used to come feed him every weekend. He would never want to leave me. Su Yudi muttered softly. There's a sanitation worker over there. How about we go over and ask her? I pointed toward the cleaning truck in the distance. Then we stood up and headed toward the worker. But for some reason, an ominous premonition stirred within my heart. Excuse me, did you see a small gray cat? Has about this long, quite small, and he has a white spot on his ear. Su Yudi patiently described Tom the cat's identifying features to the woman. That cat is dead, dear, she replied.
What?
The milk carton in Su Yudi's hand dropped to the ground, horror written all over her small face. He was hit by a car while crossing the road, and someone buried him by the roadside. Perhaps fearing Su Yudi would be frightened, she tried to summarize the event as briefly as possible. How could this be?
Why did it happen?
Su Yudi repeated those words several times, tears streaming down her face. Standing right beside her, I could clearly feel the profound sorrow surrounding her. The woman sighed in sympathy. She truly was a kind-hearted girl, sobbing like this over a stray cat. Xiao Hu Dai. Don't cry anymore. Cats have 9 lives, you know? I comforted her softly. Su Yudi leaned her head against my shoulder, sniffling and sobbing quietly. I liked Tom the best. He was so adorable. My hand hesitated in midair. Then I mustered the courage to gently stroke her hair. Xiao Hu Dai, don't be sad anymore. Every cat must eventually die, just like all people. I paused for a long moment before saying painfully, we all must eventually leave this world. Su Yudi looked up, her eyes blurred with tears. It seemed she didn't quite grasp the deeper meaning of my words. I looked deep into her eyes. People must also eventually part ways, just like you and me. Sooner or later, there will come a day when we can no longer meet. Why, don't you want to be my friend anymore? Su Yudi asked with a choked-up voice. It's not that, Xiao Hu Dai. I want to be your best friend for my entire life. Then please, don't ever leave me. I tried to speak as delicately as possible, but all efforts were in vain. Even I don't know if in 3 months' time I'll have the courage to face that parting. If we kept dwelling on this unsolvable topic, it would only make the mood more somber. I forced a smile. No more crying, okay? We promise to be happy every day. And we still have a kite to fly. Let me cry just a little bit longer. It'll only be for a moment, Su Yudi pleaded, and I nodded. All right. It's still early. It's okay, even if you cry a little longer. My eyes were filled with pity. In the future, when I truly depart, will you shed tears for me? If you don't cry, it would seem we weren't close enough. But if you cry too much, then my heart will ache uncontrollably. So please just cry a tiny bit. A long while later, the bright morning light began to dawn, shining on the many flowers and the lush green grass. The stray cats, full and satisfied, had also scattered in all directions. I quickly took out a tissue and gently wiped away the traces of tears still on Su Yudi's lashes. There, finished. Now let's go fly the kite. At noon, it'll take you to eat lots of delicious food. You said it yourself when you're sad, you have to eat lots of good food. Su Yudi rubbed her eyes, taking a few deep breaths to regain her composure, then slung her crossbody bag over her shoulder.
Let's go. Let's head to your little room.
What for? I asked, somewhat surprised. To make the kite, obviously.
What did you think I was gonna do?
Su Yudi asked in return.
And only then did I understand. I thought we were going to a shop to buy a ready-made kite. Su Yudi wanted to make one with her own hands. Clearly, making it yourself is much more meaningful. Meticulously crafting a kite yourself, then watching it soar high in the blue sky, is truly a deeply satisfying feeling. As soon as we returned to the room, Su Yudi took out bamboo strips, schwan paper, along with thread, glue, candles, a craft knife, and brushes. This level of professionalism left me standing there in shock. Are you really going to make a kite by hand? Of course. Do I look like him joking? Su Yudi replied with a very serious expression. The process of Su Yudi making that kite completely won me over and left me stunned. How could this girl's hands be so skillful, while I stood there like an idiot, only able to stand by and stare blankly, unable to help her with anything at all? Su Yudi used thread to secure the bamboo strips, meticulously shaping them into the skeletal frame of a butterfly, then used glue to attach the schwan paper on top, carefully trimming away the excess parts. And just like that, the basic form of the kite was finished. However, to turn the kite from a mere toy into a true work of art, the most important part was the patterns painted on it. Next, Su Yudi spent over half an hour painting, and only then did she finally set down the brush and let out a soft sigh of relief. A lifelike butterfly appeared right before my eyes on that kite. Xiao Hu Di, you're so amazing. I didn't spare any praise. My grandmother taught me this. When I was little, I made them myself every year. Su Yudi also seemed very pleased with her accomplishment. Then, she picked up the brush again, and in a space deliberately left blank, she wrote a small line of text. Zhuangzi and Gang is a big idiot. Calling me that daily is one thing, but why do you have to write it on the kite too? I muttered, showing my dissatisfaction. So that this kite can carry your stupidity away. And maybe you'll become a little smarter later on. Su Yudi smiled mischievously. I wasn't about to give in, so I picked up a brush and immediately wrote another line right next to hers. Xiao Hu Dai is a little dummy. Su Yudi's handwriting was slender and gentle, while mine was bold and free-flowing. Just like that. 12 words were crowded together, appearing as a black smudge at first glance, making the kite's overall colors look a bit unbalanced and less beautiful. Su Yudi pouted. I picked up the brush once more, dipped it into some bright red ink, and drew a heart between those two lines of text. That red hue was like a touch of soul, suddenly making the colors vivid and layered. However, when Su Yudi saw the heart between our two names, her face suddenly flushed, her eyes sparkling with a charming shyness. Afterward, we walked out together to the grassy area by the river. The sky was clear as if it had just been washed, a gentle breeze caressing us, making it truly ideal weather for kite flying. We ran back and forth on the grass a few times, and the butterfly kite soared higher and higher, gradually shrinking against the horizon, looking exactly like a real butterfly fluttering its wings. Su Yudi sat on the grass, laughing with pure, innocent joy. Happiness is sometimes just that simple and pure. I quietly watched Su Yudi, the sunlight piercing through the golden clouds, enveloping her in a radiant glow. The peach tree is young and elegant. Brilliant are its flowers. This girl is going to her future home. She will live in harmony with all its people. Those are famous lines from the classic of poetry, describing the radiant scene of a young girl going to be married. I suddenly remembered Deng Cheng's offer to be my best man last night, and an indescribable ache suddenly surged in my heart. If Su Yudi were to put on a wedding dress, she would surely be ethereal in her beauty. It's just a pity that I will never have the chance to witness it. Whatever lucky man marries her must have saved the entire galaxy in his past life. The kite went higher and higher, gradually becoming a tiny dot beneath the clouds. The sun also began to shine intensely, making my vision blur. Suddenly, Su Yudi took a craft knife out of her backpack. What are you doing? I asked in a panic. I'm going to cut the string, so that butterfly can truly fly free. Su Yudi's eyes were crystal clear. You put so much effort into making this kite. It's such a pity to just let it go. I tried to dissuade her. I've fully enjoyed the process of creating it, and that's more than enough for me. Now, I want it to be able to fly to even further places. Su Yudi replied decisively. In her heart, the kite wasn't just a toy, but a butterfly imbued with soul and life. I didn't offer any more advice. Ia's doing so would make me feel quite vulgar, without a hint of regret. Suyudi decisively cut the kite string. The butterfly was finally completely free of its bonds, drifting on the breeze toward a distant shore, carrying the names of Zhuangzi Nungang and Zhaohu Dai, going off together to find true freedom. I shoved my hands into my pockets, standing there watching the kite slowly vanish on the horizon, then turned my gaze to quietly admire the girl standing beside me. It was almost high noon, time once again to enjoy some delicious food. Su Yudi insisted on going to a BBQ buffet. She took out all the money she had and counted it, then said, "I have 46 yuan here," leaving 4 yuan for the bus home, and giving the remaining 42 yuan to you. If it's not enough, you can cover the rest. I gently shook my head in refusal. You don't need to give me money. Didn't I say last time that it's on me? Su Yudi still insisted, so I was forced to helplessly accept the money. My savings of over 6,000 yuan, after spending 1,200 yuan on rent, was now just a little over 5,000 yuan. With my normal spending habits, holding out for 3 months is entirely possible, as long as I don't go out for feast every day like this. But since meeting this little glutton, costs seem to be rising slightly, exceeding my initial calculations. Going for BBQ means you have to grill it yourself. Participating in the process is much more fun than other dishes. Su Yudi quickly brushed a layer of oil onto the grill, then arranged various cuts of fresh meat on top. In no time, the meat began to sizzle and drip with fat.
Waiting until the meat was just done,
She picked up the first piece, dipped it generously into the sauce, wrapped it neatly in a lettuce leaf, held it to my lips, and said, "Now, open wide." I obediently opened my mouth to let her feed me. That first bite brought an immense sense of satisfaction. I was also busy peeling shrimp for Suyudi, my hands covered in grease. But the white, plump shrimp meat quickly filled the plate in front of Zhaohu Dai. The scene looked just like a perfectly matched couple, and the diners at surrounding tables couldn't help but cast admiring glances our way.
Wow, that young couple looks so affectionate.
That girl is really beautiful, and so gentle too. The guy is also incredibly handsome. He even peels shrimp with such elegance. Those whispers reached my ears, satisfying a bit of my small vanity. If Xiaohu Dai were truly my girlfriend, what could be more wonderful in this life? Actually, I had brought Lu Ruyan to this BBQ place once before. That time, I didn't just have to sit and grill the meat. I also had to peel shrimp for her and pour her drinks. At great beauty, Lu didn't lift a finger, simply sitting there with her mouth open, waiting to be fed. I worked tirelessly all throughout, and before I could even get a few bites into my own stomach, Lu Ruyan said she was full and demanded to leave immediately. I had to regretfully settle the bill as fast as possible to get that campus goddess home on time. And afterward, I had to stop by and buy 2 plain steamed buns to ease my hunger. Truly the wretched fate of a devoted suitor. Compared to Zhaohu Dai, Lu Ruyan really doesn't amount to anything at all.
What would you like to drink?
Coke as usual, I asked with a smile. Su Yudi waved her hand slightly. Lean in a bit closer. I leaned down. I didn't know why picking a drink had to be so secretive.
Su Yudi leaned close to my ear.
Her crimson lips parted slightly. Yes, she voiced an incredibly bold idea.
What? Drink?
Drink alcohol. I immediately stared in astonishment. Su Yudi blinked her eyes curiously. I heard people say that alcohol tastes great, and after drinking it, you feel like you're floating on clouds. I've been a good kid my whole life, and I've never actually tried alcohol before. I only heard grown-ups say that drinking makes it easy to act out. Our eyes met deeply, wildly testing the dangerous boundaries. Finally, I decided to take the plunge. If we're drinking, let's drink. What's there to be afraid of? In these last 3 months of my life, I want to break every forbidden chain, and I don't care about being a good kid anymore. If I die without ever knowing what it's like to be drunk, then I've truly lived this life in vain. The beer at this BBQ place is self-service, so I grabbed 2 bottles and filled our glasses. The golden liquid bubbled with white foam, emitting a faint scent of barley. Su Wudi raised her glass. "Hey dummy, you have to be truly happy every single day. Cheers, let's drink up to my dear friend." The 2 of us clinked glasses, making a crisp sound, and then we both tilted our heads back and downed it in one go. The moment the alcohol touched my tongue, I felt an immediate, intense bitterness. Along with the sharp, burning sting of the alcohol, I frowned. Compared to milk tea or Coke, this stuff really tastes awful, no different from horse urine. Then I stole a glance at Su Wudi. Her eyebrows were tightly knitted together too, looking like she wasn't having a great time either. But when our eyes met, neither of us wanted to back down. So we both closed our eyes and forced the rest of the drink down. Xiao Dai's face turned noticeably red, making her look more adorable than ever. "Zhuangzong, is the wine good?" Su Wudi asked shyly. "Of course it's good. I drink it at home all the time." I tried to act tough to save face.
"Yeah, I think it's good too."
"I want another glass. Let's go get 2 more bottles later." Su Wudi started competing with me, and she filled up the 2 glasses again. I swallowed hard, suddenly feeling a wave of regret. My vanity was really going to be the death of me. After eating a couple of shrimp, we clinked glasses once more. Another clear clink echoed in the air, and we each gulped down our drinks again, both of us keeping a close eye on the other from the corner of our vision, fearing the other would cheat. Xiao Dai's cheeks were even redder now, and she suddenly became incredibly excited, starting to talk more and more. She chirped on without stopping, sharing all the jokes she'd been keeping for a long time. Though the alcohol content in beer isn't high, I was just a beginner, so those few glasses in my stomach made my head start to spin, and my cheeks were burning hot. Xiao Dai suddenly seemed to double before my eyes, and though I couldn't follow her jokes at all, I still just laughed along like an idiot. After all, being able to eat with Xiao Dai was already a matter of immense happiness. I don't know when it happened, but we had both finished 2 bottles of beer each. I struggled to get up in my drunken state, my footsteps wobbly as I went to pay the bill. When I came back, I saw Xiao Dai slumped over the table, her head resting on her arm, looking so innocent and adorable in her daze. Xiao Dai, let me take you home so you can sleep. I gently shook her.
You dummy. Carry me.
Su Wudi murmured in her delirium. When Im's sober, carrying her wouldn't be an issue. But right now, I couldn't even stand steady myself. It was truly beyond my strength. We had to support each other, staggering out of the barbecue shop. Luckily, my rented place wasn't too far away, and it took every bit of strength I had. Just to lay Su Wudi down on the bed, I helped her take off her canvas shoes, then gently pulled her skirt down a bit to cover those long, slender, graceful legs. You sleep here, and I'll go lie on the sofa outside. I whispered the instructions in Su Wudi's ear. Right then, Su Wudi suddenly wrapped her arms tightly around my neck and pulled my head down. I was caught completely off guard, and since my footing wasn't steady, I leaned down and softly touched those cherry red lips. My mind suddenly went boom. The whole world instantly became empty, and my heart felt like it was going to leap out of my chest. Xiao Dai's lips were so soft and moist. It was only for 2.5 seconds, but it was enough to be etched into my soul. She had stolen my first kiss. Gazing at Su Wudi's delicate face, I felt as if I were in a dream. I quickly pulled the blanket back over Su Wudi and hurried out of the room. Clearly, she was the one who made the first move. Yet, in the end, I was the one acting like I'd done something wrong. I lay on the sofa, tossing and turning, unable to fall asleep. My mind kept vividly replaying that brief sensation from those 2.5 seconds. I finally pulled out my Bluetooth headphones, started listening to music, trying to calm myself down, along with the melancholic melodies. The drunkenness finally washed over me like waves from the sea, and then I fell into a deep sleep. The leading lady in my dream was Xiao Dai, of course. The images were so vivid they'd make anyone flush red. Truly hard to put into words. I'm sure no one wants to see these scenes, so let's just set them aside and skip them, shall we? I don't know how much time had passed, but I suddenly felt an itch on my nose and instinctively let out a loud sneeze. Opening my eyes, I saw Su Wudi's radiant smile. She was holding a feather from who knows where, giggling away. You're teasing me again, I said while rubbing my nose.
You lazy pig.
The sun is about to set and you're still sleeping. Su Wudi playfully made a face. Suddenly, I felt something was off. So embarrassed my face turned beet red. I quickly jumped up and rushed into the bedroom, then locked the door from the inside. I had to hide this evidence of guilt right away and wash it later tonight. It took a few minutes before I dared to show my face outside. It seems Su Wudi also noticed Eddie G just changed into new pants. Zhuang Ziang, you didn't take advantage of me while I was drunk, did you? Aunt, you remember anything? I was shocked. You don't remember anything. I only remember being at the barbecue shop, and then opening my eyes to find you on my bed. Su Wudi's face looked so perfectly innocent, while I silently cried out in grievance. There is no one quite like you. Getting wild using alcohol as an excuse. Stealing my first kiss. And now you're turning around and blaming me. I could only manage a stiff reply. You reeked of alcohol. And you smelled awful too. Who would want to take advantage of you anyway? But you took off my shoes. If I didn't, you'd have made my bed all dirty. Su Wudi thought that made sense. So she didn't bother to press the matter further. But thinking back to how I looked at her small feet yesterday, she still felt something was a bit strange. In the round fishbowl on the table, 2 goldfish were swimming around freely. Su Wudi picked up the fish food jar nearby, dropped a bit into the water for them, then rested her chin on her hand and watched them eat. Hey dummy, look at them. They're so happy. Nothing like you at all. You're not a fish. So, how do you know they're happy? I retorted. You're not me either. So how do you know that? I don't know the joy of the fish. Su Wudi fired back immediately. Well, you're not me. So how do you know that I don't know? That you don't know about the joy of the fish? My words left Su Wudi thinking for a long time, to the point that she almost fried her brain. She reached out and gave my arm a hard pinch. That's for having such a slick tongue. I cried out in pain. I guess you really can't reason with girls.
Zhuang Ziang, I have to go home now.
Su Wudi glanced out the window. The sky had already begun to turn into the colors of dusk. Do you have to leave so early? I was planning to take you out for dinner. She declined. I can't. I have to catch the 6:10 bus. A look of regret flashed in Su Wudi's eyes too, but she was forced to return before it got completely dark. I felt a bit helpless, guessing that her family must be very strict. Besides, it really isn't safe for a girl to be out late at night. Then the two of us went to the bus stop together, sitting on the bench eating Odin, while waiting for the number 19 bus. even though I didn't want it to happen at all. The bus appeared anyway, regardless of my wishes. It just turned the corner over there. Will you come again tomorrow? I asked hurriedly. Is there anything fun happening tomorrow? Su Woody blinked her big, round, sparkling eyes. We could go to the library and read joke books. I blurted it out, but then I immediately thought it was a terrible idea. It was the weekend. So there weren't many people waiting for the bus. The moment the doors opened, Su Woody stepped onto the bus, looking at her slender silhouette. I suddenly felt an immense sense of emptiness. I should have suggested somewhere more interesting. The very moment the doors were about to close, Su Woody suddenly turned her head back. All right then, let's meet at the library entrance tomorrow morning. The bus began to pull away, carrying the girl further and further away. I just stood there and spun around a few times, grinning like a complete fool. I desperately wished for tomorrow to come quickly, even though it meant it'd be one step closer to death. Back at the rented house, I had a simple bowl of pickled vegetable noodles. At around 8 p.m., I sent Zhao Dai a message. What do you want to eat tomorrow morning? Just like before. There was no reply at all. A long while later, my phone suddenly started ringing loudly. I quickly picked it up to check. It turned out to be a video call from my best friend Teng Cheng. Hey son, why is it you? Teng Cheng looked very depressed on the screen. Judging by your voice, you seem pretty disappointed. I finally forced a weak smile. It's nothing.
So, where did you go this weekend?
What, playing? It's not like you don't know? My mom forced me to go to extra classes. Teng Cheng complained incessantly. Then he started pouring his heart out about how difficult his time at the extra classes was, sitting with a bunch of real nerds, feeling like he was about to be crushed. It took me quite a lot of effort to comfort him before he finally quieted down a bit. Seriously, I really want to find someone to love. Teng Cheng suddenly asked, Hey, have you ever kissed a girl? What? I've never even been in a relationship. So how could I have kissed anyone? Felt a bit guilty, and my speech became stuttery. Guess what a girl's lips taste like? Strawberry flavor, maybe. Teng Cheng guessed curiously. Probably not. I think it must definitely be the taste of beer. I blurted it out without thinking. Did you get your head caught in a door? How could a girl's lips taste like beer? Teng Cheng looked at me with disdain. Forget it. Talking to you about this is useless. After all, you've never kissed anyone. The two of us chatted about random things for a while longer. Before ending the call, I remembered those 2.5 unforgettable seconds this afternoon, silently confirming once more that a girl's lips really do taste like beer. Suddenly, I remembered that in my closet, there was still something hidden that I couldn't let anyone see. I hurried into the bathroom, poured out half a bag of laundry powder, and scrubbed vigorously. The scene from that dream still made me blush intensely. After finishing the laundry, I did my personal hygiene, then lay lazily on the bed playing with my phone. Just as I opened the class group chat, I saw a message from the new class president, Jibata, tagging everyone. It was basically saying that next Tuesday and Wednesday would be the grade-wide monthly exams, telling everyone to prepare in advance. Originally, this was just a simple announcement. Whole class just needed to know, but he loved to show off his leadership authority, forcing everyone to reply upon receiving it. Most people basically didn't even bother to notice him, with only a few scattered classmates. Obediently replying with received, Jibata looked extremely dissatisfied, so he sent another message.
Why are there only a few of you?
Is everyone else dead asleep? Teng Cheng found this incredibly annoying to watch, and immediately fired back without any hesitation. Stop acting like a chicken feather is an imperial decree. Back when Zhuangxiang was class president, he wasn't as fussy as you. I'm the class president now. So I'm the one who sets the rules? Jibata quickly typed a reply. A new official needs to make a strong impression, and if I can't establish that fire now, then how can I build up my prestige? I'm afraid my future work will be hard to carry out. He was silently holding back his anger, wanting to show off to Lu Ruyan, as well as wanting to show all the teachers and students that he was much more outstanding than Zhuangxiang. But alas, man proposes, God disposes. His classmates basically didn't give him the time of day. Jibata couldn't see the simultaneous received flood he expected. Instead, there was a series of mocking and sarcastic remarks. It's just a lowly class president position. It's only his turn because Zhuangxiang didn't want it. He really thinks He's the center of the universe. In my heart, I only recognize Zhuangxiang as the class president. He's been the top of the grade for 2 consecutive years. I dare anyone to break that record. Jibata was so angry he ground his teeth, flames of jealousy burning fiercely within him. At that moment, I casually replied with 2 words, received.
School beauty, Liu Ruyan immediately followed received.
Then came Teng Cheng, Zhang Yu, and Deng Yihei. Everyone simultaneously messaged received. Witnessing this scene, Jibata finally realized with bitterness that Zhuangxiang's status in the hearts of his classmates was something he could fundamentally never shake. After messaging, I put my phone down, read a magazine for a bit, then fell asleep, my heart full of anticipation for the library date with Xiao Dai tomorrow. Early the next morning, I hopped on my clunky bicycle and pedaled straight to the library, finding Su Woody waiting under the birch tree out front, her beauty like a fairy descended from heaven. Xiao Dai, I shouted loudly. You're so slow. The breakfast I bought is almost cold now.
Su Woody pouted playfully.
Sorry, it'll be faster next time. I quickly apologized profusely. Every time I meet Xiao Dai, I look forward to the next time and the time after that. I wish we could spend every day together like this. Today was the weekend, so there were quite a lot of people at the library. I told Su Woody to find a seat first, while I went to look for books. I hadn't finished Demigods and Semi-Devils yet, so I wanted to read the rest. When I finished getting the book and returned to the reading area, it took a while to find Suwudi in a secluded corner. Xiao Dai, why did you choose such an out-of-the-way spot? I think it's a bit far. Hey, let me tell you, I just encountered something extremely scary. Suwudi said with a very mysterious face. I was stunned. In a library full of people like this, what could possibly be scary? Suwudi saw I didn't believe her. So she hurried to say, I clearly saw many empty seats. But when I went to sit down, the person next to them told me that those seats were taken. Just like that. I tried to hold back my laughter. Isn't it scary? They were clearly empty, yet those people insisted someone was sitting there. Suwudi said with a very serious face. I couldn't tell for a moment if she was teasing me, or if she was just that honest and naive. I smiled slightly. All right, let's read then. This time, Suwudi wasn't reading jokes, but was incredibly focused on the book Nanjing, one of the 4 classics of Oriental medicine, traditionally attributed to Bianke. I felt it was a bit unusual. Out of the blue? Why are you reading a medical book? I whispered softly. Oh, I'm just looking at it for fun. Just a bit curious. Suwudi gave a perfunctory explanation. Is one of your relatives sick? No, not at all. Seeing that Suwudi didn't seem to want to answer further, I didn't have the heart to keep pressing her. Because things like a sick family member aren't usually things people want to talk much about. But then I suddenly remembered, since I'm seriously ill myself, how could I have the presence of mind to worry about others? In Ji Wulun it's said, being born is the beginning of death, and death is also the beginning of a new life. Everything in this world is constantly being born and growing, and will gradually wither and vanish. Will humans, after leaving this world, truly return to empty dust? At around 11:30 a.m., Suwudi reached over with her small hand and lightly scratched the back of my hand.
What's wrong?
I looked up. I'm so hungry. Suwudi pouted her little mouth, looking absolutely pitiful. I was speechless. You're like a hungry ghost incarnate.
Didn't you just finish eating buns?
Then we went to return our books together and stepped out of the library grounds. Only then could Suwudi talk as loudly as she wanted. She seemed incredibly excited, like a little bird that had just been released from its cage. Zhuangzhang, what are we having for lunch today? I started counting on my fingers. Hot pot, beer barbecue, milk tea, then ice cream. Hearing me list out such a long list of delicious food, Xiao Dai's mouth was almost watering. Then I suddenly did a sharp U-turn. We can't eat any of those. The light in Xiao Dai's eyes vanished instantly. I'm just a poor student after all, and I don't have a personal income. If we keep eating and living lavishly like this, it won't be long before we're begging on the streets. Saying that, I lightly tapped her forehead. Suwudi hurriedly unzipped her backpack and managed to find 2 20 yuan bills. This is all I have left for today. But you have to leave me some money for the bus. I laughed. Is your backpack some kind of magic bag? Why does it seem to produce money every day? Suwudi shook her head. It doesn't. Every morning, my grandmother stuffs money in here for me, since I spent it all on breakfast for you earlier. There's not much left now. Hearing her say that, I really didn't have the heart to let her pay. Thinking for a moment, I know a clay pot noodle shop. It's delicious and incredibly cheap. Want to go? Of course, as long as there's food. Suwudi grinned happily. This girl really isn't a picky eater at all. By the time the two of us reached the noodle shop, it was exactly noon, with customers coming and going in crowds. The sound of lively laughter filling the room, a very warm and everyday atmosphere. And as soon as Suwudi appeared, she immediately caught the attention of countless people. I quickly pulled her away to find a seat, tucking her away in a secluded corner. We ordered 2 portions of chicken broth noodles. The owner brought the food out very quickly. The broth was crystal clear, and the aroma was rich and fragrant. Suwudi couldn't wait and took a gulp immediately. It was so hot, she had to stick her tongue out and pant.
Slow down.
Otherwise, people will think I haven't fed you in days. I teased her. This broth is amazing. Suwudi praised it with a smile. In this girl's eyes, it seems there's nothing that doesn't taste good. A girl this easygoing is truly easy to please. Zhuangzhang, didn't you run away from home? What are you doing showing your face here now? A shrill voice suddenly came from the side. I turned back and met the provocative gaze of Zhuang Yuhang, who was with some friends from the same neighborhood, also having noodles here together. I basically didn't want to deal with him, so I didn't say anything and just looked away. Who's that? Suwudi looked at Zhuang Yuhang curiously. My father's son, I replied indifferently.
So isn't that your younger brother then?
Suwudi took a moment to think, to fully understand our complicated relationship. Seeing me ignore him, Zhuang Yuhang immediately flew into a rage. Last time at home, you dared to lay a hand on me. I haven't even settled that score with you yet, I replied coldly. The fact that I'm not hitting you is already showing you a lot of respect. You useless loser. I don't know what kind of medicine you took that day to actually dare to hit me. Zhuang Yuhang was incredibly arrogant. At home, he was used to my submissiveness, always enduring and patient, so he didn't take my warning seriously at all. The kids sitting with Zhuang Yuhang joined in with mocking faces. Hang, is this your motherless brother?
I heard that at your house.
He's no different from a servant, a bookworm who only knows how to study. Living like that is just so pathetic. Zhuang Yuhang laughed loudly. Exactly. Even his own mother hasn't looked at him for over 10 years. You see, that's how detestable he is. Hearing those words, I suddenly clenched my fists, my knuckles cracking. Suwudi suddenly stood up, glaring at Zhuang Yuhang. You're so young, how can you speak like that? Has your older brother? Zhuang Yuhang glared at Suwudi, Who do you think you are?
This loser's mistress.
Sue Woody's eyes widened, her gaze full of disbelief. How could such a small child utter such poisonous words? What kind of parents would raise a child like this? But after all, he shared the same father as Zhuangziang. Zhuangziang was clearly so kind and gentle. An older brother who treated him so well. Didn't he just buy you a cake a few days ago? Sue Woody still tried to talk nicely to Zhuang Yuhang. Are you talking about that cheap cake? Even a dog wouldn't eat. I trampled it into mush long ago. He even got a stinging slap from my dad and was kicked out of the house like a dog. Zhuang Yuhang let out a wild, mocking laugh. Zhuangziang, you're a total idiot. Sue Woody looked at me, her beautiful almond eyes brimming with tears. Only now did she learn of my tragic situation that night. Yet the next day, this fool told her with a smile that his brother loved the cake, eating until it was all over his mouth, and even called him Appa, even though she knew I was lying back then. She didn't expect the truth to be this cruel. Throughout that entire night, Xiang's heart must have endured so much torment. How disappointed must one be in their family to leave home so resolutely, packing everything into that cramped rented room, staying with this loser. It seems you're not a decent girl either. Zhuang Yuhang glanced at Sue Woody contemptuously. As soon as the words left his mouth, I couldn't hold back anymore. I raised my hand and delivered a powerful slap that sent Zhuang Yuhang tumbling down. The loud slap startled all the diners in the small shop, their eyes all turning toward us at once.
You piece of trash. You dare to hit me.
Zhuang Yuhang lay on the ground, looking at me with terrified eyes. I stood tall, looking down coldly at Zhuang Yuhang. If I want to hit you, I hit you. Do I need to pick a special day for it? My slap had truly dazed Zhuang Yuhang. Did this guy swallow some explosives? Was this still the submissive punching bag he used to know? Even Sue Woody didn't expect someone as mild-mannered as me to suddenly strike out. The surrounding diners didn't know the whole story. In their eyes, I was just a bully picking on a child, and they couldn't help but point and whisper. What's wrong with this person? How can he be so rough with a child? Call the police and have him arrested. Let the officers teach him a lesson. Let me record this and post it online. Hitting someone in public like this is a total disregard for the law. If it were before, I would still care quite a bit about how others saw me, and would mostly explain patiently. But now my mindset had completely changed. After all, I was a dying man. Let these strangers say whatever they want. Who cares? My time and energy are limited. They can only be for the person I love and those who love me. The shop owner heard the commotion and ran over, looking at me in shock. Xiao Zhuang, why did you hit your brother? The owner knew me and understood a bit about my family situation, so he didn't join in the criticism like the others. Uncle, sorry for causing trouble. Well, leave right away. I told Sue Woody to wait a moment and followed the owner to pay the bill.
Zhuang Yuhang struggled to crawl up from the ground,
looking at me with intense hatred. But he was only 10 years old after all, and was no match for me physically, so he could only suppress his anger for now, planning to go home and tell his parents. I was gone for quite a while before coming back, grabbing Sue Woody's wrist. Let's go. Sue Woody didn't say anything else, obediently following me out. But at the door, Zhuang Yuhang shouted, Zhuangziang, you're finished.
You've caused big trouble.
My parents won't let you off. I gave a cold laugh. Since they don't know how to teach you, I'll do it for them. Aunt, let me see your face again, or I'll hit you every time I see you. After making the threat, I left nonchalantly. This feeling felt much better than being a submissive punching bag. Hey, you big dummy.
Why did you suddenly hit someone?
It was so scary, because he didn't just insult me, but also spoke disrespectfully to you. I won't allow anyone to speak ill of you, I answered seriously. Sue Woody then remembered. Zhuang Yuhang had indeed insulted her, saying she wasn't a decent girl, which was why I suddenly struck. A bit of sweetness rose in her heart. That brat really deserved a beating. No one mentioned the unpleasantness again. We headed back the old way, continuing to the library to read. About half an hour later, my phone vibrated. It was my father, Zhuang Wanzhao. It seemed Zhuang Yuhang had gone home to complain. I decisively rejected the call and set my phone to do not disturb. Sue Woody wanted to cheer me up, so she found some children's books. And for the rest of the afternoon, we read 7 or 8 joke books and comics. It was like eating fast food. No nutrition, but very fun. Being with the person you like. Time always flies like a galloping horse. But does a person with only 3 months left have the right to love someone? At 5:30, I returned the books and left the library with Sue Woody, walking on the path back to school. Hey, big dummy. Do you remember what we read today? Sue Woody skipped along as she walked, stepping on the sidewalk tiles.
I don't remember.
I've forgotten it all, I replied with a smile. Me too. Ha 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 ha. A trail of happy laughter was left on the road. At 6:10 bus no. 19 arrived as scheduled. Xiao Hudi stood on the bus, and I waved goodbye longingly through the glass window. Back at the rented room, looking at the 2 goldfish in the tank, swimming tirelessly,
I fed them.
While talking foolishly. Little fish, do you two think Xiao Hudi likes me? If she does, then blow a bubble. If she doesn't, then come up here and solve a quadratic equation. I took out my phone and saw Zhuang Wanzhao had called 5 times and sent 3 60-second voice messages. I didn't bother listening to his nonsense and called him right back. That's right, I hit him because he has a foul mouth. He deserved it. Instead of criticizing me, you should look at yourself and see if you're worthy of being a father. If there's any problem from me hitting him, just take him for treatment. I don't care anyway. I have no money, and I'm not giving my life for it either. While I was on the phone with Zhuang Wanzhao, I could hear Qin Shilan adding fuel to the fire, cursing non-stop. I chuckled to myself. I've endured your arrogance for over 10 years. Do you still think of me as a punching bag for your anger? After venting my frustration, I hung up again. On the other end, Zhuang Wanzhao heard the dial tone. Fuming with rage, rebellious son, you beast. Why did I give birth to something like you? Qin Shilan sobbed and cried.
Look at what he did to Yu Hang.
The swelling still hasn't gone down. My poor baby. Zhuang Yuhang slammed the table hard. Dad, go to school tomorrow and bring him back here. Make him kneel and apologize to me. Then use a belt to whip him until his skin is torn. Zhuang Wanzhao was in a towering rage. So what if He's first in the grade every year? If he can hit his own brother, maybe tomorrow he'll dare to hit me too. The morning sun just began to rise. The early breeze was chilly. Monday would have the flag-raising ceremony, followed by the weekly assembly. The administration and student council members would summarize the past week's studies and activities. I went to the playground to gather, my eyes scanning the classes to search, trying to find Zhao Hudi's figure. The result was very disappointing. Xiao Hudi, which class are you actually in? Actually, Idid wanted to ask Su Wudi that to her face long ago, but thinking that she was hiding it for a reason, she probably had her own difficulties. ID, wait until she wanted to say it. Then it would come out naturally. The fourth period in the morning was the class meeting. Tomorrow was the monthly exam, so there was quite a bit to prepare. As soon as the bell rang, Ibata strode up to the podium, using a blackboard eraser as a gavel, slamming it hard against the teacher's desk. Everyone, quiet down. S.E.S. the class monitor. I will organize the exam room arrangements. He loved starting his sentences with class monitor, but almost none of the students below bothered to pay him any attention. Ibata had to grit his teeth and say a few more words, but realizing absolutely no one was listening, he slammed the table in anger, the sound echoing through the room. Are you guys even listening to me? Tang Cheng mocked. You've been rambling for ages? Without saying anything important. Only a ghost would want to listen to you. Jibata was huffy. Didn't Zhuangziang use to talk this much too? Why were you willing to listen to him then? Simple. I respect Zhuangziang as the monitor, but I don't respect you. Tang Cheng countered based on what? Where am I inferior to him? He can rank first in the whole grade. Can you? That one sentence hit the mark perfectly, making it undeniable. And Jibata's face turned pale and then flushed with shame. He had been eyeing the class monitor position for so long, never expecting that before his seat even got warm. He would face a mountain of trivial troubles. Previously, when I was class monitor, everyone didn't feel much. Only now did everyone suddenly realize that I had been silently contributing a lot to the class. Lu Ruyan turned her head. Zhuangziang, you were doing such a good job as monitor?
Why did you want to resign?
I looked up slightly. I'm tired. I don't want to do it anymore. More and more students turned their gazes toward me. Zhuangzang, it's still best for you to be monitor. We all respect you. That's right. You've been class monitor for 2 years. You should finish what you started until the end. Zhuangzang, I support you. Are you having some difficulties? Just tell us. We'll help you solve them together. You've helped everyone so much before. Don't carry the burden alone when you're in trouble. Under everyone's earnest gazes, I slowly stood up, looking at the familiar faces of my friends, tears beginning to well up in my eyes. Thank you for your concern, everyone.
I'm fine, nothing's wrong.
Resigning as monitor was a decision I made after much consideration. I'm truly sorry I can't serve everyone until graduation. So sorry. New monitor will continue to contribute to our class. I hope everyone will support and cooperate with him more. Please give him a bit more time. By the time I got to the last few sentences, my voice had begun to choke.
I'm sorry, my dear classmates.
I probably won't be able to go with everyone until graduation day. Tang Cheng slammed the table hard. Zhuangzang, what the hell is wrong with you? Why are you being so wishy-washy like a girl? I put my hand on his shoulder. Soon, you'll know. The atmosphere in the class suddenly became unusually quiet. Everyone didn't know what was happening, but could feel the genuine sorrow coming from me. Bada stood on the podium, looking completely bewildered. He had always been competing with me, yet he didn't expect me to still be speaking well of him. Perhaps that was exactly why. He would never be my equal. Our stature and tolerance were worlds apart. What's going on? In this whole building, your class is the loudest. Zhang Zhiyuan appeared at the door, uttering a classic teacher's line. Teacher Zhang, we're having a class meeting. We hope Zhuangziang can be monitor again. Lu Ruyan stood up boldly to speak, and as soon as she finished, whole class responded in unison. That's right, Teacher Zhang. We don't want Zhuangziang to resign. Only he has the most authority in the class. Did something happen to Zhuangziang's family? All of us can help him. Hearing everyone's clamor, Zhang Zhiyuan couldn't help but feel his nose tingle. He waved his hand, signaling everyone to be quiet. Zhuangziang's resignation was a decision he made after much thought. We should respect him. Even though he's no longer monitor, his contributions to the class over the past 2 years will not be forgotten by any of us in the days to come. I hope everyone will still respect and care for him just as before. After saying this, Zhang Zhiyuan turned and hurried out of the classroom, secretly wiping away a tear. luckily managing to hold it back, not letting himself burst into tears in front of the whole class. Zhang Zhiyuan stood in the hallway trying to calm down.
Zhuangxiang.
There's an elderly man at the security booth looking for you. An elderly man. I was a bit puzzled. He looks over 70 years old. Go and have a look. I ran all the way to the school gate. When I saw clearly the old man squatting in front of the security booth, tears suddenly poured down uncontrollably. His thin hair was completely white, and his face was full of wrinkles. He was wearing a blue Zhongshan suit, carrying a woven bamboo basket. Grandpa, why are you here? I stepped forward quickly, hugging his thin skin and bones frame, sobbing uncontrollably. Grandpa stood up emotionally, sighing. I was worried about you, so I just had to come and see. Grandpa lives in the countryside. Every time he comes to the city, he has to transfer buses 3 times. He doesn't know how to use a mobile phone, so he just walked and asked for directions until he found the school. When I was 5, my parents divorced, and I was sent to live with my grandparents for 6 months. During those short 6 months, those 2 kind elders gave me a rare sense of familial warmth. Because of that, an incredibly deep emotional bond formed between the 2 of us. Later, when I was brought back to the city, he found out about my difficult situation at home. Every winter and summer break, he would tell me to come back to the countryside. Furthermore, for over 10 years, most of my living expenses were provided by his hard work farming. He was my true guardian. Grandpa, I'm sorry. It's my fault for being inconsiderate, making you worry. I choked out.
Good child, I know.
You must have suffered a lot at home. Don't be afraid. Grandpa is here to get justice for you. Grandpa gently stroked my back. He knew my nature was gentle, and I always treated everyone well. Once I had committed such a rebellious act, it was certain that I had suffered extreme grievances and had completely lost hope in my father and stepmother. It's just that he didn't know there was another piece of colossal bad news, and I didn't dare tell him the truth. Zhang Zhiyuan walked over then, and seeing the 2 hugging and crying, thinking of my illness, his eyes reddened once more. I wiped away my tears. Grandpa, this is Teacher Zhang, my class advisor. Grandpa hurried to bow to Zhang Zhiyuan. Teacher, my Zhang has caused you a lot of trouble. Zhang Zhiyuan quickly returned the gesture. Grandpa, please don't do that. Zhang Zhang is the most outstanding student I've ever taught. I feel very proud of him. Then Grandpa took some eggs out of the bamboo basket and thrust them into Zhang Zhiyuan's hands. Teacher Zhang, country people don't have anything valuable. These are free-range eggs from our own hens. Please take them home. No, I can't. We have regulations. We're not allowed to accept gifts. Zhang Zhiyuan hurriedly declined. Our Zhang has no mother, and his father doesn't care about him. I beg you to help and look after him a bit more. Grandpa pleaded earnestly. Don't worry, Grandpa. I will. Zhang Zhiyuan couldn't hold it back anymore. He turned away and wiped his eyes. He didn't dare imagine how heartbroken the old man would be if he knew the cruel truth. After our moods stabilized, Teacher Zhang, I'm taking my grandpa to lunch. If I'm a bit late this afternoon, it's fine. You go ahead. Zhang Zhiyuan said kindly. I suggested eating at a restaurant, but Grandpa insisted not to, wanting to save money, so I had to go with him to buy 2 bitter melons, and with the eggs he brought, went back to the room to make stir-fried bitter melon with eggs. I ate heartily, repeatedly praising Grandpa's cooking skills. Grandpa, I'm doing very well here. It's close to school too, so I can sleep a bit longer in the morning. Don't try to convince me to go back to that house anymore, I said cautiously. Grandpa observed the small but tidy rented room and sighed deeply, thinking about his grandson living all alone outside. His heart really didn't feel good. I'm not all alone. I have many friends at school, and everyone likes me very much. But friends aren't the same as family after all, Grandpa said with a sigh. Your father said you hit Yuhang yesterday. Is that true? I nodded. He insulted me and my friend first. Grandpa also looked serious. After eating, I'll take you back there to settle this once and for all. As long as you did nothing wrong, Grandpa will stand up and protect you. I hesitated for a moment, then agreed. I didn't want my 70-year-old grandfather to keep worrying over these trivial matters of mine. As for what happens 3 months from now, I could only take it one day at a time. Then the 2 of us appeared at the doorstep. My father was extremely surprised. Dad, why are you here? Why didn't you tell me beforehand so I could come pick you up? Grandpa said angrily. You've kicked even my grandson out of the house, and you won't even let me come see how he is. Qin Shulin stepped out with a fake smile, greeting him awkwardly. It wasn't time for afternoon classes yet, so Zhuang Yuhang was also at home. Both mother and son looked at me with eyes full of hatred. After closing the room door, my father roared at me in a rage. Look at what you've done. Your grandfather is already at this age. If anything unfortunate happens to him on the road, would you be able to bear the responsibility? Who gave you permission to yell at my grandson? I came to visit him because I wanted to. Grandfather slammed his hand down on the tea table. It is truly a case of diamond cut diamond. My father suddenly became quite submissive. He bowed his head, remaining silent for a long time. But grandfather's anger had not yet subsided. He questioned loudly again. You hit Xiangang, didn't you? He is your own biological son. How could you bring yourself to do that? Moreover, even if you hit someone, don't hit them in the face. My father justified himself. I am his father. I have the duty to discipline him. You see yourself as a father figure at all? What right do you have to discipline him? Grandfather was determined to vent my anger for me, but my father fell silent. Qin Shulin spoke up from the side. Father, you have to be fair. Wu Hang is also your grandson. He was slapped by Zhuangzi Nonggang. How do we settle this? Zhuang Wu Hang chimed in. Fats, right? This loser has gone crazy lately. Shut up. He is your older brother. Grandfather flew into a rage. He could not understand at all how this couple could spoil their child to this extent. There is no way a younger brother should treat an older brother like that, constantly calling him a loser.
Father, no matter what you say.
The fact that Zhuang Gong hit Wu Hang yesterday is the truth. He must apologize to Wu Hang. You cannot just blindly protect him like that. My father told grandfather. Grandfather frowned deeply. In my father's words, Zhuangzi Nonggang was Zhuangzi Nonggang, while Zhuang Wu Hang was Wu Hang. Just that tiny difference alone was enough to see how I had lived in this house with so much suppression and melancholy. Meanwhile, Qin Shulan stood by, adding fuel to the fire. Now he dares to hit his younger brother. In a few days, he will surely dare to hit his parents. And after that, he just hit his grandfather too. With such a crooked character, no matter how highly educated or knowledgeable he is, he will only harm society in the future. Before he makes an even bigger mistake, he needs to be disciplined very strictly. Looking at her harsh face, grandfather did not bother to pay attention, but turned to look at me, Xian Gang. Tell me, why did you hit Wu Hang? I glanced at Zhuang Wu Hang because he deserved a beating. You loser. Are you tired of living? Zhuang Wu Hang screamed. Now with his parents backing him, he was no longer afraid. As for this grandfather in front of him, Zhuang Wu Hang hardly saw him a few times a year. In his eyes, he was just a senile old man. Father, look, this attitude of Zhuangzi Nonggang. Does it look like he wants to repent at all? Qin Shulan snorted loudly. You beast, making a mistake, yet still being so arrogant. Do you really think I'm nothing? My father pointed directly at my face and cursed. Grandfather said angrily. Things are not clear yet. Why do you all keep insisting on blaming Nonggang? Qin Shulan spoke sarcastically. If you want to favor him like that, then there is nothing I can do. My son and I are truly miserable, being bullied by everyone ganging up on us. My father still had some respect for grandfather. So he tried to explain, Father, many neighbors saw what happened yesterday. Zhuangzi Gang is not focusing on his studies and is dating some good-for-nothing girl. And as a result, he was caught by Wu Hang. So he went crazy and started hitting people. This behavior is truly appalling. My eyes burned with anger, and my voice suddenly hardened.
Who are you calling a good-for-nothing girl?
What? My father was stunned.
A good-for-nothing girl. That's how Zhuang Wu Hang described Su Yudi. He did not expect me to react so strongly after hearing that. So young, yet not focusing on studying properly. Instead, always hanging out with girls. Who knows what kind of
dirty, shady things he will do in the future.
Qin Shulan continued to taunt. I clenched my fists tightly, wanting nothing more than to rush over and slap that woman a few times. At the same time, I felt deeply ashamed toward Little Butterfly, because she had to suffer such insults on my account. Father, about yesterday. Have you really investigated it thoroughly? I asked loudly. My father asserted firmly. Of course, so many people witnessed it. You slapped Wu Hang right in front of everyone. No, you have not investigated anything at all. I shook my head bitterly. In the depths of your mind. You have already assumed that Zhuang Wu Hang is your precious son, while I, no matter what I do, I'm always in the wrong. Insolent.
I always treat the two of you equally.
My father was still stubbornly arguing. Ask your own conscience. Can you even believe those words yourself? I let out a cold smile under my cold gaze. My father suddenly felt a pang of guilt. No matter how he rationalized it, he could not hide the truth that he always discriminated between his two sons. If you truly want to know the truth of the matter, you should know that the noodle shop has surveillance cameras. My voice suddenly became unusually calm. Hearing this, my father's face froze, and Zhuang Wu Hang's eyes gradually became uneasy. I directed my gaze straight at Qin Shulan. Auntie Qin, do you want to enjoy the sight of me disciplining your son so impressively? With that, I took out my phone and opened a video clip. Yesterday, when I went to pay, it took me quite a while to come back because I had asked the shop owner for this surveillance footage because I know Zhuang Wu Hang's personality all too well. If I did not present clear evidence in front of him, he would never admit to his mistakes. Then the arrogant and contemptuous words of Zhuang Wu Hang echoed from the phone speaker. Within less than 2 minutes, he had called me a loser countless times until I could not hold back anymore and slapped him. Grandfather said with full indignation.
Well slapped.
If Gong had not struck then, would he still be worthy of being a man? My father was speechless, unable to argue back. No matter how biased he was, he could see clearly that Zhuang Wu Hang was constantly provoking, truly bringing this beating upon himself. Qin Shulan opened her mouth to say something, but for the moment she could not find a proper reason, so she had to remain silent as well. Perhaps she was secretly thinking that I was truly a scheming and calculated person, even keeping the surveillance video as evidence. At this rate, if there was a property dispute later on, Zhuang Wu Hang probably would not stand a chance against me. Zhuang Wenjiao, now do you understand which of your two sons is the one who truly lacks discipline? Grandfather growled. My father replied, Father, I have been so busy with work, so I did not have time to look into this thoroughly. Wu Hang is still just a child. He did not mean it. My father began to make excuses guiltily again. He dares to call his older brother a loser, and you still say he did not mean it. Grandfather was fuming with rage. My father saw that the situation was bad. Continuing to defend Wu Hang really was not going well. So he waved his hand, signaling, Wu Hang, Come over here and apologize to Zhuang Zinonggang, and let's call it settled. He dared to hit me.
Why should I have to apologize to him?
Zhuang Wuhang remained unchanged, determined not to admit he was wrong. No need. I don't need anyone to apologize. I shook my head calmly. What's an apology good for, anyway? You cannot eat it, and you cannot wear it. When language no longer protects one's self-esteem, then fists become the final weapon. In front of grandfather, I did not want to continue arguing any further. To avoid making him even more upset. Grandfather, I don't want to stay here anymore. Let's go. Grandfather nodded decisively. All right, let's go. It's fine if we never come back to this house. After saying that, he gave my father a sharp glare. Father, how about I take you back to the countryside? My father's face showed clear remorse. No need. If you have so much free time, then spend less time gambling and spend more time properly educating your son. Grandfather stubbornly turned and walked away. My grandfather and I gradually walked away, leaving the three of them standing there looking at each other in confusion. As the atmosphere became incredibly heavy and gloomy. Father, it's just that I find that loser so annoying to look at. Zhuang Wuhang was still grumbling resentfully. Immediately, my father dealt him a thunderous slap. Shut up. He is your older brother. As we stepped out of the house, grandfather was filled with remorse. Zi Ingang. I have not taken good care of you, making you suffer so many disadvantages and grievances. I shook my head, grandfather. I'm fine. Now that I have moved out to live on my own, I feel very free and happy. I looked at my grandfather with his white hair, my heart tightening with sorrow. Grandparents work hard in the fields back home, saving every penny to support my education. This gratitude as deep as the ocean, unfortunately, I no longer have the chance to repay. Grandfather suddenly smiled kindly and asked, Zi Ingang, that girl eating with you in the video, is she your girlfriend? My face suddenly turned bright red. No, she is not. She is a good friend of mine named Little Butterfly. Little Butterfly? What a lovely name. Grandfather looked at my expression and could immediately guess the thoughts of his grandson. In the eyes of previous generations regarding young people in love, they actually have a much more open and liberal perspective. After all, in the countryside back then, it was perfectly normal to get married at 17 or 18. I have grown up now. At this age, having a girl I secretly admire is just a natural part of life. Grandfather temporarily brushed aside the unpleasantness from earlier and shifted to a completely different topic. If you like that girl so much, then you should actively ask her out more often. When I was young and wanted to pursue your grandmother, her father used to chase me through the village with a carrying pole every day. In the end, thanks to having this thick skin, I was finally able to take her as my wife. I listened quietly to his stories, but infinite sorrow welled up in my heart. With less than 3 months to live, I essentially no longer have the right to pursue the girl I love. Passing by a phone store, I took my grandfather's hand. Grandfather, let me buy you a phone. That way it'll be easier for the two of us to stay in touch later. Grandfather thought for a moment, then nodded in agreement. This matter of buying a phone. People had already advised him on it several times before, but because he kept worrying about the monthly fees, he always said the landline at home was enough. But after experiencing this event, he finally thought more clearly about it, so he could contact me anytime to worry less. Eventually, we walked into the store together, chose a phone with a large screen and clear keypad, and specifically, the speaker volume had to be very loud in total, including the phone and the SIM card. It only cost a bit over 200 yuan. Grandfather intended to pay for it himself, but I adamantly refused and quickly scanned the code to pay immediately, although most of my money also came from him. In this brief remaining time, chances for me to repay his kindness are truly few. Afterward, I sat on the bench in front of the phone store, patiently teaching grandfather how to use the phone, from making calls and video calls to even scrolling through TikTok. Long ago, you were the one who taught me how to hold chopsticks and taught me how to tie my shoelaces. Now that you are old and frail, it's my turn to teach you how to use a phone, I said with a smile. Finally, fearing he would affect my studies, grandfather suggested returning to the countryside right away. I saw him off all the way to the bus station to wait. Zi Ingang, it's about 3 months until your summer break, right? Grandfather asked me excitedly. 3 months. My heart suddenly tightened in terror. Right now, I'm extremely sensitive to any such period of time. But how could grandfather possibly understand those hidden thoughts? Your grandmother raised many chickens and keeps mumbling that once summer break comes and the chickens are grown, she'll make stewed chicken, something delicious to nourish you. Hearing this, my tears were on the verge of overflowing, everything blurring through the veil of tears. If you truly have sincere feelings for that girl, then as a man, you need to be more proactive. When summer comes, bring her to our village to visit, so your grandmother can be happy too. This old body of mine still wishes to live until the day I see you get married and hold my great-grandchild. Every loving and warm word from grandfather was like sharp knives stabbing deep into my heart. I quickly covered my mouth, trying my best not to let out a sob. Seeing me like that, grandfather thought it was because I was too attached to him, so he gave me a few more words of comfort.
You child, why are you crying like that?
It's not like the two of us will never see each other again. Finally, the bus slowly pulled into the station. My face was drenched in tears. Grandfather, you and grandmother must stay healthy. Grandfather gave a kind and warm smile. All right, Remember, 3 months later when summer break starts. Make sure to come back home quickly. After the silhouette of the bus gradually faded from sight, I remained sitting silently on the station bench for a long time. In my head, images of my grandparents receiving the bad news about me kept appearing. They would surely cry until their hearts were torn apart. That would be truly too cruel for them. Sorry. Truly. So sorry. Grandparents. I walked toward the school gate like a lost soul. While passing the security office, an idea suddenly popped into my head. I poked my head in and said to the guard on duty, "Uncle, when my grandfather came looking for me this morning,
were you able to use my name
to find out which class I'm in?" Security guard nodded slightly. "That's right, kid. The computer system has complete information on every student stored. So can you help me find a friend? Her name is Sue Yudi." I earnestly pleaded with him. The guard nodded in agreement, then turned around and began searching on the computer. Just a moment later, 4 words clearly appeared on the screen. "No such person found." Instantly, my eyes widened in utter shock. I truly could not believe my own eyes. Why could things possibly be like this? My head was filled with unanswered questions. Finally, I forced myself to come up with a seemingly plausible explanation. Perhaps she has 2 different names. Like Teng Cheng once said when he was little, his name was Imad, but then because the old name sounded too ordinary, it was not until he was over 10 that he decided to change it. Sue Yudi must just be her childhood name, and now Shez using a different name, right? It must be that way. Otherwise, what other reasonable explanation could there possibly be? By the time I returned to the classroom, the first lesson of the afternoon had already been underway for a while. "Hey bro, where have you been running off to?" Teng Cheng leaned in close and whispered. "My grandfather just came up from the countryside to visit." I answered him briefly and concisely.
"Your little butterfly was just here looking for you."
"But you were not here at the time. All the boys in our class are dying of jealousy over you." Hearing that, I hurried to take out my phone and secretly texted under the desk.
"What did you need to see me for?"
"Why did you not just call me then?" A moment later, the phone in my pocket vibrated slightly. I received a new reply message. It was from Little Butterfly. "It's nothing special, really. I just suddenly felt like seeing you." I immediately texted back. "After school, let's meet by the flower bed." Little Butterfly quickly sent back one word. "Okay." As soon as the bell signaled the end of the lesson, I bolted out of the classroom at the speed of light. The teacher on the podium stood stunned in amazement. He had not even finished the lesson yet. He was even planning to extend into the break for another 2 minutes. Beside the flower bed where hyacinths and wisterias were blooming, that girl of pure, stainless beauty was sitting there, the peach blossom in her hair like a brilliant pink cloud. When Sue Yudi saw me approaching, she stood up and handed me a cold ice cream. This made me feel even more puzzled. My grade 9 classroom is on the 2nd floor of the building, and Sue Yudi once said her class was all the way on the 5th floor. I myself had just bolted out the moment I heard the bell. So where did she find the time to buy ice cream so quickly? "Hey dummy, eat it quickly, otherwise it'll melt in a moment."
Butterfly.
"Are you hiding something from me that's hard to talk about?" Faced with my questioning, Sue Yudi did not provide a direct answer. She just opened her beautiful, sparkling almond eyes wide and looked deep into my eyes. "Come on. Confess honestly. Aren't you also hiding some secret from me?" My heart suddenly skipped a beat, and I hurriedly avoided her gaze.
"Yes.
Indeed, I have an earth-shattering secret I dare not whisper to Little Butterfly, that I no longer have a future from now on." My guilty expression made Sue Yudi giggle.
"What are you afraid of?"
"It's not like I'm forcing you to tell me. Everyone has deep secrets hidden in their hearts. If you don't feel like sharing, it's fine to keep it a secret." I looked up at her, letting out a sigh of relief.
That's true.
Indeed, all of us have our own secrets, and it's not always necessary to tell everything to others. If someone doesn't want to speak, we shouldn't make it difficult for them. When the time comes and they want to share, they'll tell us naturally. Even if the name Sue Yudi might be a fake name, the person of flesh and bone before me is still real. Shes still standing right here, incredibly vivid before my eyes. As long as we know how to cherish the moments we spend together and enjoy the present moments to the fullest, that's enough. I just quietly gazed at her for a long time, my lips unconsciously curling into a natural smile. This girl almost always maintains such optimism and cheerfulness, as if sorrow never existed in her life. But at the same time, she is also someone with an incredibly sensitive soul. She can cry her heart out over the passing of a poor stray cat. Just being by her side, I seemingly can temporarily cast aside and forget all the pain in this life. To me, she is both as sweet as honey and as dangerous as poison. Suddenly, a few boys approached us and sat down together on the edge of the flower bed. "Zhuangzi and gang, an important exam is coming up. Yet you still have the mind to sit here leisurely skipping class, just to sit beside a pretty girl and enjoy ice cream like this." The person who just spoke was my friend Deng Haijun. He's a student from class 15. Deng Haijun has consistently maintained his position at the top of the class for years, and the people with him today are also all the top students from other classes. However, because an exceptional existence like me is here, in any exam, those smart friends could only take turns holding the second position on the rankings. In this academic world, I'm like a wild young man, standing proudly atop a high mountain, shouting down below. Everyone, keep doing your best.
Put all your effort into competing for that second place.
I send my most sincere blessings to all of you. During the school's internal assessment exams, they were all silently striving, hardening their resolve to overcome me, just to taste the joy of being number one for once. But when representing the school together in major external competitions, we frequently became comrades in arms, standing shoulder to shoulder. Under my leadership, everyone joined forces to bring glory and noble achievements to this school. So our relationship is something of both rivals and soulmates. Hi June, I heard a rumor that you're aiming for the top of the entire grade. I intentionally teased my friend. Of course, among us here, who wouldn't want to be first in the grade? Deng Haijun replied with a less than happy face. I thought for a moment, then smiled and said, anyway, since our relationship is pretty good, how about I generously give you all a chance for once? Tomorrow, I'll just decide to skip the exam and be done with it. Skip the exam? Would you really bring yourself to do that? Deng Haijun was extremely surprised to hear me say that. Lately, I've been feeling like playing around a bit, so I naturally don't have any interest in exams anymore. I continued to joke in a subtle way. Those top students looked at each other in confusion, their eyes filled with indescribable emotions. Your tone sounds as if you're bestowing a favor on us. What I want is to defeat you properly and fairly, not to see you run away halfway like a coward. Actually, I've never believed that you're invincible. I'll definitely beat you at least once before we graduate. Among these excellent students, there's always a sense of mutual respect and understanding. Actually, I know all too well that recently, they must have heard rumors that I'm facing some problems. So I've been suddenly skipping school for no reason.
That's why they agreed to come here to find me.
Hoping to encourage me to pick myself up soon, so we can all engage in a fair competition together. Su Yudi, standing beside me, spoke up after grasping the gist of the story. Zhuangzi and Gang, turns out your academic performance is that outstanding. I could only give a forced smile. Actually, I'm not that talented. It's just thanks to the support of my colleagues here. Deng Haijun and his friends suddenly showed awkward expressions. Who are you implying, you punk? When you hit someone, you don't hit them in the face? Haven't you heard that before? Su Yudi gave me a hard pat on the shoulder and encouraged me. Why would you skip the exam? Don't do that. You should just put all your effort into doing well on the exam for me and use your ability to defeat them all.
And who are you anyway?
Your words sound a bit arrogant, don't they? Deng Haijun glanced at Su Yudi with a scrutinizing look. This smart friend actually has a bit of a quirky and eccentric personality. In his world, girls aren't divided between beautiful and ugly. Even if it's someone as breathtakingly beautiful as Su Yudi, in his eyes, she is just an obstacle on the path of education. Deng Haijun secretly thought that me clinging to girls like this was a sign that I was starting to fall and lose myself. Actually, I used to be a very humble person. Whenever I won first place in exams, I would tell them it was just luck, while not forgetting to give them encouragement so we could all strive together. But now things are no longer the same as before. It was time for me to let my true self be revealed. I looked at Su Yudi. Do you really want me to take first place? Su Yudi nodded, of course. If I get first place, can you promise me one thing? If it's not too much, I'll consider it. Hearing that, my gaze gradually grew sharp, and a smile played at the corners of my lips. I stood up and glanced at the group. Deng Haijun and the others were sitting on the flower bed. Forgive my bluntness, but in my opinion, everyone here is just trash. Upon hearing this, little butterfly couldn't help but clutch her stomach, laughing uncontrollably. Deng Haijun and the others turned bright red, itching to rush forward and tear me apart. You're looking down on us a bit too much. If I don't grind you into the dirt, it'll be hard to vent this frustration. Where's my 40-meter greatsword?
I'm going to hack him to pieces.
Seeing their furious expressions, I also burst out laughing. I patted Deng Haijun on the shoulder. Didn't you guys want a fair competition? I won't be holding back. Deng Haijun gave me a punch. Don't get cocky too soon. I've been burning the midnight oil every single day this month. The school bell rang just then, and I headed upstairs with Su Yudi. Parted ways at the corner of the second floor. Good luck, dummy. You too. Deng Haijun and the others followed behind. Hearing how Su Yudi called me, there was another moment of silence. If Hez a dummy, then what does that make us? The last class of the afternoon came to an end because they had to set up the exam rooms. School was dismissed a bit later than usual. I checked the time. It was past 6:10 p.m. I couldn't help but text Little Butterfly.
Are you on the bus yet?
Little Butterfly replied quickly.
Yeah. See you tomorrow.
Since I was free anyway, I went to check out the exam rooms first. Each classroom has 30 seats, with the student's name and number taped to the top right of the desks. The school arranges exam rooms based on the number of strokes in the students' surnames. The candidates sitting in front and behind me were both named Zhuang. I counted. The name Zhuang has 6 strokes, while the name Su has 7. Su Yudi's exam room probably wasn't far from mine. I went to search in the classrooms behind, and quickly found the room for students with the surname Su. But after checking over and over again, there was absolutely no one named Su Yudi on any of the exam lists. I stood there, dazed for several minutes. Ever since I met Su Yudi, scenes kept playing back in my mind. The inconsistencies were piling up.
Little Butterfly,
what on earth are you hiding from me? Leaving the school, I went to the snack street to find something to eat. From a distance, I saw that fried potato stall. This was the first food Su Yudi and I shared on the day we met. The name Little Butterfly was actually first coined by the lady at the potato stall. Auntie, Can I have a portion of potatoes? Make it extra spicy, please. I walked forward a few steps. She was busy, but she still smiled and nodded. It seemed she still remembered me. I pretended to ask her casually, Auntie, how did you know Little Butterfly? She thought for a moment and said, that girl used to come here for potatoes a lot, always chirping about all sorts of things. She is such a lovely girl, so she left a very deep impression on me. So when did you first see her? Probably about 3 months ago. I stopped there, asking no more questions. Otherwise, she might misunderstand and think I'm some creep with bad intentions. Eating the tongue-numbing spicy potatoes and holding a cold cup of Coke, I ran into Liu Ruyan and Ji Boda. Zhuangzhang, the exam is tomorrow. I was feeling a bit nervous, so I asked Ji Boda to go for barbecue with me. There is nothing between us, so don't get the wrong idea. Liu Ruyan spoke up first. I was bewildered.
You two just go ahead and eat.
Why explain it to me? Liu Ruyan frowned slightly. You see me with Ji Boda and you don't care at all. Of course not. It's normal for classmates to eat together, I said with a smile. Liu Ruyan gritted her teeth in anger, her small face flushing red. Well played, Zhuangzhang. Didn't you say you liked me before? Now I'm with another guy. Yet, you're not even a little bit jealous. You men are all jerks. None of you are any good. Zhuangzhang, why don't you join us? Ji Boda asked tentatively, since I had stood up for him. In yesterday's class meeting, he felt too awkward to be hostile anymore. Sure. I've got nothing else to do at home anyway. I agreed immediately. Ji Boda was speechless. I was just being polite. He really didn't treat himself like a stranger. He wanted to slap himself.
Why did I even ask?
After all that effort to get Liu Ruyan out, now there's a third wheel, and it'll cost me more money too. Talk about backfiring.
The barbecue place we went to was
the same one Su Yudi and I visited before. Seeing the beers in the glass cabinet, I couldn't help but smile. The barbecue here was a buffet. The moment Ji Boda sat down, he started busily, brushing oil, grilling meat, and mixing sauces.
Liu Ruyan, as always.
Like a noble princess, just sat there waiting to enjoy the meal. I was also too lazy to lift a finger, like a king, using a bamboo skewer to eat potatoes. Can you stop just eating potatoes? Isn't that just wasting my money? Ji Boda glared at me. The buffet is charged per person. Filling my stomach with potatoes was truly uneconomical, but I didn't care much, still eating with relish. Liu Ruyan felt uneasy, because clearly, the last time I was with her, I had taken perfect care of her. It hadn't been long, yet now I was acting so indifferent to her. It must be because he now had a prettier girl by his side. As the first plate of food was ready, Ji Boda automatically started peeling shrimp for Liu Ruyan. I laughed and said, your shrimp peeling skills are good. Peel two for me too. Can't. You peel them yourself, Ji Boda grumbled. I'm just too lazy to wash my hands. Just be a good guy and peel them for me while you're at it, I said nonchalantly. Ji Boda was huffing with rage. Good guy, my foot? Your whole family are the good guys. Liu Ruyan burst out laughing. Seeing Ji Boda left speechless by me was actually quite funny. Zhuangzhang, that girl who came to see you outside the classroom. Is she your girlfriend? Liu Ruyan hesitated for a long time before daring to ask. I shook my head. No, we only met each other last week. Upon receiving this answer, Liu Ruyan felt slightly more at ease. She asked again, so what class is she in? I answered honestly. Actually, I don't know. She said Shez in class 23. Everyone knows there are only 22 classes in our grade. So that must be a lie. That's so weird. If our grade had such a beautiful girl, how could no one know her? Ji Boda chimed in. A hint of jealousy rose in Liu Ruyan as she asked, is she that beautiful? Just how beautiful is she? Ji Boda immediately backtracked. Of course, compared to you, Shez a notch below. The questions they had, ID already thought about. Little Butterfly was always shrouded in a mist of mystery. Throughout the meal, Liu Ruyan spent most of the time talking to me. I was also quite generous, sharing some exam tips with them. As for Ji Boda, he acted like a waiter the whole time, only busy with grilling meat, and barely managed to eat a few bites himself. I looked at him with sympathy. Seeing him felt like seeing a shadow of my former self. Being a simp truly lacks any dignity. Liu Ruyan put down her chopsticks. I'm full. It's not good to eat too much at night. Otherwise, it'll get fat. I was almost done too. Since Id just finished a portion of potatoes, I followed up. What? Is everyone done eating? I've only just started. Ji Boda started to panic. Liu Ruyan said warmly, then you stay here and eat some more. Zhuangzhang and I are heading out first. I stifled a laugh. Ji Boda, thanks for the treat. Him slipping away first. With that, the two of us stood up together and walked out of the barbecue place side by side. Ji Boda stood there, dazed, the chicken wing in his mouth suddenly losing all its flavor. Snow fell white and thick, the north wind rustling. The whole world was submerged in a hazy blur. Ruyan, you should take a taxi home. I stood by the roadside, intending to help Liu Ruyan hail a taxi.
Wait, Zhuangziang.
I have something to tell you.
Liu Ruyan bit her red lips.
I turned back to look at the school beauty before me. Yet, in my mind, only Little Butterfly's face appeared. In this moment, I suddenly understood the meaning of those lines. Once you have seen the great ocean, Other waters mean nothing. Apart from the clouds of Mount Wu, no other clouds compare. Lu Ruyan hesitated for a long time before gathering the courage to say, Zhuangziang, I've reflected on myself these past few days. My previous attitude towards you was indeed not good. I've thought it through now. I can still give you a chance. A chance for what? I smiled faintly. As long as you show me your true heart. Then, within the next 3 months, you still have a hope of winning me over. Lu Ruyan declared boldly, in her mind. For a girl to be able to say such words was already an extremely large concession. I should have been moved to tears and overjoyed to accept this benevolence. Unexpectedly, my face remained as calm as ever, which left the school beauty deeply disappointed. Ruyan, I'm afraid I can't wait for 3 months. Lu Ruyan didn't understand the hidden meaning in my words. You can't even wait for 3 measly months. Then how am I supposed to know? If you're being sincere or just playing around? I let out a sigh. You've misunderstood. The girl I like doesn't seem to be you anymore. Hearing my reply, Lu Ruyan was stunned for a long while. I just haven't accepted your confession for the time being. It's not like I rejected you completely. On what grounds do you dare to change your mind on your own? Zhuangziang. So were all the things you said about liking me before just lies? Lu Ruyan was somewhat agitated. Ruyan, I really did like you before. Since that love went unrequited, I should have the right to take it back. I answered calmly. Why don't you have any patience?
Why give up halfway?
Lu Ruyan questioned. She always believed that. Once a boy liked her, he should always stay in place and wait for her, never leaving her side. She never considered that the boy also has the right to walk away. I looked at the school beauty I had liked for so long, deciding to speak my true thoughts once and for all. Ruyan, I only now realize my feelings for you before were just a superficial attraction because you're the school beauty, the center of attention. Pursuing you could satisfy my own vanity until I met her. Did I know what it feels like? To truly love someone with all my heart. Being with Little Butterfly is a wonderful feeling I've never experienced before, where I can forget the pain, forget time, and forget this whole world. It feels like even though the world is vast, it only consists of the two of us. Lu Ruyan's eyes brimmed with tears. Impossible. We've known each other for 2 years, and you only met her last week. I smiled. True love cannot be measured by the length of time. You don't even know what class she's in. Aren't you afraid of being tricked by her? Lu Ruyan shouted. Even if it's a trick, I don't care. Just like a moth, even if it knows it will be burned by the flame, it will still dive in without any hesitation. I thought to myself, for someone whose life is about to end, what is there left to be tricked for? In these final days, I no longer worry about anything else. I just want to live true to the most honest thoughts in my heart. To walk the rest of this short life. I waved for a taxi and politely opened the door for Lu Ruyan. Ruyan, when you meet someone like that, perhaps you'll understand how I feel. Sitting in the taxi, Lu Ruyan wept silently. She clearly realized that she had lost Zhuangziang forever. Was that girl really that good? Back at my rented room, I changed the water in the fish tank, then sprinkled a bit of food. In maybe 2 months, I'll have to return these 2 fish to Little Butterfly. Just then, the phone rang. It was my treating physician, Chen Dexiu. There was nothing special, just checking in on my health. Dr. Chen, is there really no other way? Sorry, child. Xiao Zhuang understands.
Thank you, doctor.
Chen Dexiu didn't know how to comfort me. Just told me to come to the hospital in 2 days, so he could check on me again. Even though I knew it was futile, hanging up, I opened the packet of medicine, tossed a handful of those foul-smelling pills into my mouth, and took a gulp of water to swallow them. The nausea surging from my stomach made me dry heave several times. Now, I suddenly didn't want to die so much anymore. If only I could live for 1 more day, just to look at her a little longer. I would be content. The next morning, the phone by the bed rang loudly. I reached out from under the covers, fumbling to swipe the screen and answer. I pressed the speakerphone button, my voice still groggy with sleep. Hello, who is it this early in the morning? A clear female voice rang from the speaker. You lazy pig. The sun's already high in the sky, and you're still sleeping in. My eyes immediately flew open, and I bolted upright in bed. This was the first time Su Yudi had ever called me. Little Butterfly, where are you? I'm out buying breakfast. I'll come find you in a bit.
What do you want to eat?
Any breakfast Little Butterfly buys would taste delicious. Hurriedly hanging up, I scrambled up to tidy my messy room. Then I rushed into the bathroom to wash up, the warm water cascading over my skin, washing away all the exhaustion after a long night. In my dreams last night, I was again with Little Butterfly doing unspeakable things. I dressed neatly, and the knock on the door came just in time. Opening the door, I met the smile I had missed every single night. Little Butterfly, good morning. Dummy, the sun's already high. It's not early anymore. Su Yudi had bought 2 portions of porridge, along with tea marinated eggs. While I was bowing my head to sip the porridge, she was meticulously peeling an egg. Once finished, she put it in my bowl, then picked up another one. I felt a bit shy. I can do it myself. Su Yudi smiled. Eat it to nourish your brain. You have to do really well on the exam today. Beat all those people from yesterday. Don't just talk big and then fail to deliver. Don't you worry, those guys, in my eyes, are nothing but trash. I declared boldly with high spirits, bragging without any shame. Su Yudi glared at me. I've been first in the grade for 2 years straight. Haven't you ever heard? I was a bit surprised, really. I think I might have heard something about it. Su Yudi replied casually. I resentfully took a bite of the egg. Looking at you, I can tell you're a poor student, never caring about exam rankings at all. I suddenly remembered checking the exam rooms yesterday afternoon, and that there was no Su Yudi in the list of candidates named Su. However, after hesitating several times,